children needing a chance.
An employee at the James Clemens High School in Madison is now terminated from his job after being charged by police for sex with a student. 34-year-old Isaac Munoz was charged with having sexual contact with a student under the age of 19. The contract that the school had with Munoz was rescinded at the time of his arrest. The Madison City School System says that Munoz was providing counseling services to the high school. The identity of the one shooting fatality in Stockton is now released. 19-year-old Michael Anderson Jr. was taking part in May Day celebrations in that community when an argument broke out and a person fired into the large crowd of over 1,000 people. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Hi there, I'm Madeline Cannon with Alabama Home Mortgage. Getting pre-approved is the first step towards home ownership. People are often scared or nervous about taking that first step, but I'll tell you, it's nothing to be scared of. At Alabama Home Mortgage, we will take the first step and every step along the way with you. Call us at 567-4223. We will gather the information needed to tell you exactly what you qualify for. After a call to Alabama Home Mortgage, you will know what price point to shop for, what down payment is required, if any, and what your monthly mortgage payment will look like. We take all the guessing out of it. Then, when you find the house you want to make your home, you are ready to make an offer. Along with your offer, you will submit your Alabama Home Mortgage pre-approval letter. This shows sellers that you've already taken the steps necessary to ensure that you qualify to purchase their home. Wait no longer. It's time to take that first step together. Call me at 567-4223 or start the process online at myalabamahomemortgage.com.
That's Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
Free! Who doesn't love free? With MyLowe's Rewards, you get the member-only treatment that's actually worth it. Enjoy free member gifts you'll love. And once you reach Silver Key status, you can get free standard shipping. Because Lowe's knows nothing feels better than free. Learn more about our new loyalty program at Lowes.com/MyLowe's Rewards today. Program subject to terms and conditions. See Lowes.com/terms for details. Member gifts may be subject to additional terms and restrictions. See Lowes.com/shipping terms for details. Subject to change.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's Conversational Radio Show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Hey, mister, I don't mean to be telling tales out of school, but there's a feller in there who'll pay you $10 if you sing into his can. I'm not here to make a record, you dumb cracker. They broadcast me out on the radio.
How you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Joey Clark.
Welcome into News and Views in the afternoon, or as we're calling it online, Joey Clark Live. Just a humble little talk show here in Montgomery, Alabama. I'm Joey. Eddie Bader also here in the studio. How you doing, Eddie?
I'm doing good, Joey. Good to be here.
And as has become tradition now here on Wednesdays, let's welcome on our guest, the one, the only Jeff Poor, of course, host of the Jeff Poor Show there at 106.5 FM in the Mobile, Fairhope area, and also editor-in-chief at 1819 News. Jeff, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Joey. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for being on. So the breaking news is it looks like there's been 2 debates agreed to. The first one will be in June between Trump and Biden on CNN. What's your reaction to this?
Why CNN? I that makes me a little uncomfortable. You know, when I first heard that, like, how did that make it through whatever the negotiations were? But I'm kind of glad that they've cut out the middleman here, the Commission on Presidential Debates, because I always thought it was just kind of maybe 20 years ago it was quote-unquote nonpartisan, but as with everything, these institutions get corrupted and they, becomes a big power struggle, and they just don't. Who they choose as moderator and so on and so forth, it's clearly there's almost like a fix-in.
Right, and I look at, also I think there's another one agreed to, and it's going to be ABC. And it's just these corporate networks don't inspire confidence in me any longer. And there are a lot of people in, say, the right wing or on the Trump train who are very upset, I think, who agree with your sense about this, Joe.
Yeah, and this is what Republicans do. Like, we should not enable these kinds of outlets. And it drives me crazy, even on the local level, like the hostile actors in our politics. It's always like Republicans going to go kiss their stupid ring and play by their rules. And I just like scratch my head, and then they'll go and complain about the liberal media, but they're enabling them by participating in their forums.
And I almost feel like the current debate formats are just absolutely worn out. It might be very well that it was Trump himself that destroyed that debate format in 2016. Because I'm thinking back to some of these debates, and they've become more about the TV presentation. And I just find the discussion of ideas lackluster. I don't know if it's worth it anymore to even engage in this sort of thing.
Yeah, and just like you said, is this where people or how people are watching or making decisions? And like, what's the point of the debate? Let's I'm not trying to be like flippant about it at all, but let's analyze what's the objective here, and like, why do we in this day and age, especially, like, what are we trying to learn here? And it's not clear to me that you're really gaining anything other than you want to see how they perform maybe under pressure or something. I get it, but it's not like some kind of learning experience.
Well, and I think it's fascinating, too, that they created standards and thresholds that essentially guarantees RFK Jr. will not be up there on that stage with those two guys. Yeah,
they had to go out of their way to keep it the duopoly, right?
Right, and it'll be interesting to see if RFK can get media in other venues alongside maybe even Trump. But Biden seems to be running away from RFK Jr. as much as possible, even denying the guy Secret Service protection at this point. It just, the Democratic Party, man, as much as they're Democratic, they're some of the most hardcore folks that uphold that hierarchy. Like, you try to get inside the Democratic Party based on merit and fair play in a democracy. I don't think that's how it works.
Well, and unless, I don't know, last time we've really seen this, Joey, maybe we could say Ross Perot on the stage, right?
Right.
What was the measure there? Do we expect RFK Jr. to perform better than Ross Perot?
What did Perot end up with?
I don't know. Like, very, and there was some talk that I think he came closest in Alaska. What was that, 1992?
Yeah.
The popular vote was what it was what everybody cost the. So he had 19 million votes, 19.7 million. The winner, Bill Clinton, 44.9 million, and George H.W. Bush, 39.1 million. Is it even feasible? Is that even in range that he could get something like 20% of the popular vote or less, or somewhere in that range?
I think it depends on what happens. 20% is high, though. I would guess at best he gets over 10, and that's about it. But even that 10%, well, people have been talking about Ralph Nader, who only got something like 3%, and he sort of played spoiler. People still blame him for Gore losing to W. Bush in 2000.
Well, I guess it's a matter, but it's just as getting on the debate stage. Yeah. What is that threshold? What do you need to be polling at? What's appropriate? Because obviously you don't want like every presidential candidate up there, but you know that. You don't need to shut the other guy out either if there's a viable third party, I think.
Right, and I think they set the threshold at something like 15%. So we'll see if RFK Jr. and they have their select polls that they say are their journalistic standards. But this also seems early, doing this in June?
Yeah, before the conventions. I don't know. I don't know what the calculus is there. Why you would do it early, but it's it's going to be kind of it's going to be kind of funny to watch. The Biden video on this was like it was so ridiculous and so phony and trying. It was like really it was sort of try hard here, you know.
Oh, absolutely cringeworthy. We're going to get to that in a second. Yeah, I don't know. My reaction was, oh, look, two old men said, hey, let's go to CNN. That's what everybody watches, right? And it's just, well, maybe the generational turnover is just not happening fast enough for my liking. Now, one guy you got to talk to this morning, I believe, is Senator Tommy Tuberville. And I hope to talk to him myself here in the near future, but he was recently right there at the courthouse standing alongside Donald John Trump. How's Tuberville doing these days, you think?
He was just there. I mean, he was in the courtroom watching this. Joe, is it weird that we have it? And I asked Tuberville about this. We're getting the play-by-play. We're getting what Cohen said. We're getting what the prosecutor's saying. We're getting what these defense attorneys are saying. We're getting even like what Donald Trump's mannerisms are. No one's reading the jury, though. Have you noticed that? Like, no one is talking about jury reactions. I think that's a telltale sign of what's to come. So I asked Tuberville that. He says that they looked bored. They did not look like they were convinced at all about what Michael Cohen was saying. I think that. I mean, I'm not. I don't know. You know, I'm automatically dismissive of a fair jury trial in New York City for Donald Trump, but I'm not convinced what they're doing is really working for him there either.
Yeah, I think that is definitely falling apart. And I believe Tuberville, along with Senator Britt and I think representatives from the AG's office, are doing a big roundtable today as we speak on crime. Do you think crime is going to be a big issue heading into this campaign?
Right now, it's not. Now, could that change? Yeah, it's always like a good one for Republicans to roll out. I mean, it's what won Richard Nixon 72, all those states. I think it was just all the crime, and you know, you run on that. I thought it would have played more of a prominent role in the 2020 cycle. Seeing these riots, these BLM riots, seeing all the looting, seeing all like Target burning down in Minnesota. But somehow the narrative about George Floyd, which I also thought was fraught with problems, stuck in it in one day. It did what it was. They engineered it to do, and they took this unfortunate situation and hyper politicized it. But I thought for sure, Joey, when all that was going on, well, there's going to be a reaction from the right too. They're going to say, well, enough of this in my city, especially Wisconsin. We saw what happened in Waukesha. And all of that, and you think, well, this is going on in people's backyard. Like, what if Clinton, Alabama, they were torching like the Walmart there and tearing down the downtown, and you and I are not necessarily in Clinton, but you would think the people in the state would react in a way that was like, well, we're going to go with the more pro-crime and get away from some of this lunatic liberalism, but it never really was a thing.
Yeah, it never really manifests, and maybe that's something to do with the cities, even in deep red Alabama, tend to be blue. And all the rage is to talk about all the other things that might contribute to crime, not, people making awful decisions despite their circumstances. And it has always struck me, it's like the one time you need the police is like when people are destroying everything. And that's when they stand back the most often in this day and age. It's nuts.
Yeah, it just is. And you see, I don't, like, the public is not, are the activist public, I should say. You and I talked about this on my show. They're searching for something in life, but they're operating on either just a lazy worldview where they haven't really thought this through, or they're misinformed or ill-informed. And that's what I think this is like. What's going on, and it's impacting everything in such weird ways.
Do you almost think, this is a crazy thought, do you think people, even though we complain about where things are, both sides of the political aisle, think people actually have it pretty good, and thus they're satisfied despite all the troubles in life?
No, I think there's usually, we call it mental illness or whatever you want to call it, but it's just human beings just look for something bigger than themselves. They can't help it. Even if they want to be like self-centered and narrowly focused, myopically focused on themselves or whatever. There is this like desire, and sometimes the two kind of overlap. But you want to be part of something. You want to be a part of something. You want to be a star too at the same time. And I cannot help but think that's what's going on with some of these protests, particularly in that what we saw going on in Birmingham yesterday.
Oh, absolutely. I think there's a lot of confusion and groping for meaning. It seems there is also an apathy out there in the population as well. And I wonder what to make sense of this. You get these pockets of folks really engaged and energized, and then I think everyday people, say the middle class, who are probably solidly Republican, they're not the ones who tend to protest. Maybe it's because they got stuff to do, but I'm wondering why folks aren't showing up. But before I let you go, I want to pick your brain on kind of this VP race. It seemed to me that everybody who was speaking, for the most part, in front of that courthouse is kind of auditioning for VP. When I look at Byron Donalds, when I look at Vivek Ramaswamy, Doug Burgum speaking yesterday as well. Who do you think, as we get closer to the conventions, is actually going to be the VP?
I keep hearing Marco Rubio. And I don't like that pick necessarily, but if you're just playing it safe, like he's been vetted, he's kind of a proven commodity. And they had to figure out the Florida thing, but the name you're hearing a lot of over and over again is Marco Rubio. I don't know what he brings to the table, but he's the safe pick. Tim Scott would probably be an honorable mention. I don't know. Ramaswamy, I think cabinet. I think you saw some of that there. Tuberville, I don't insist he doesn't want to work in the Trump administration, but Tuberville, Steve Marshall there as well. Then with the Iowa AG, I think you're seeing cabinet auditions as well.
Do you think that the Steve Marshall appearance, we had one of the contributors yesterday on the show saying it's kind of a little bit of a flex? Like, look at who I know, who I can stand next to, thinking about, say, down the road here in Alabama politics?
What do you think Will Ainsworth said when he saw that on the other day? I think the more likely outcome is this, though. I mean, the rumor is obviously Ainsworth versus Marshall in an Alabama gubernatorial race, and I'm sure Ainsworth's keenly aware that Steve Marshall's standing up in New York City alongside Trump. But what I would add to that is I think the more likely scenario is Steve Marshall. I don't know about AG. If you haven't noticed, Joey, Alabama attorneys general don't do well with Trump. At least the two he dealt with Jeff Sessions and Luther Strange. So maybe the third time's a charm. But that being said, you could see that working out of Steve Marshall being in a Trump administration in some capacity for this reason alone. How many times has he had to take on the Biden administration and scored and had some W's? You want somebody in your corner there if Trump wins in November. I mean, it's just going to be lawsuit after lawsuit. Everything he does, every executive order, every breath he takes is going to be challenged in court. You got to be thinking about that and assembling a team, knowing that is coming.
It certainly needs an aggressive AG. I'll put it that way. Well, Jeff, pretty much out of time here. If folks want to check out what you're writing about, think about, how can they do so?
Twitter.com/Jeff_Poor. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Jeff. Again, folks, Jeff Poor there. And be sure to also check out 1819news.com. He is the editor-in-chief there at 1819news.com. What do you think at this point, Eddie? I guess we'll get into the Biden debate with Trump and this cringeworthy video. But what's your first blush hearing that, two debates have been decided, one on CNN, one on ABC?
I'm like Jeff. I don't understand how that negotiations led to either one of those two independent parties.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's just at this point.
Unless Trump is just so, and we know Trump, his ego is so strong.
Right, he's just like, I'll go anywhere. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I've been there.
Probably going to tune in.
Well, of course.
Just, I'm so tired of, despite them losing viewers, especially as actuarial tables are going against them, the corporate press still is around. Apparently, it's not about viewership or actual American eyeballs and ears on your programming. It has much more to do with the prestige and what connections you have with all the powerful people, important people.
Who do you think's giving them that money?
Big Pharma, number one. The
Man,
defense
that
contractor,
donor
number
class
two.
runs as much of the media world as anything else, man.
Right. It's just I want something. I want that surprise and that energy of 16. And like, we go back and forth on Trump, but there are moments where I think Trump might have lost that fastball, to quote DeSantis. But he's going to be the nominee. He's going to be the guy. And I really, on that jury, an interesting point by Jeff Poor there, that people aren't reading the jury like they normally would in one of these national court cases.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that suggests that, yeah, the jury, it only takes one person for a hung jury.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know if they have the slam dunk. I will be amazed if they actually throw Trump in a prison cell because of something like that.
I can't see it. Plus, I mean, you probably watched the trial more than me. I haven't seen any damning facts that came out. I haven't seen anything that they're looking for. If anything, I see the defense kind of looking silly by even bringing this stuff in front of a judge.
Right.
It just and the fact that Trump calls them out daily kind of funny to me. But yesterday it did remind me of the whole Apprentice deal, where you look around and these are my people right here.
Oh yeah.
You know, and is that your gang?
Do you like, as an Alabama citizen, do you like Tuberville being up there close, tied to the hip with Trump?
As a citizen of Alabama, yeah, I want a leader that is tied close to the president choice I like. But that being said, personal level, not so much.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? No, explain that.
But mainly because I know don't want to put down Donald Trump by no means, but I know at the end of the day, he burns bridges. He burns bridges. That's a guy you just can't get close to because you're gonna get burned. I don't care if you're your best friend, you know. So I worry that people lower their guard, and they you see it happen all the time. They get sucked into people like that, and then they're like, "Oh, he got me."
Yeah, he got me good.
Yeah. So
we'll see. It seems like two old men are still, and not just them, the people backing them are holding the reins of everything. And no wonder the American people are so upset with our choices. And yet we feel under siege by the other side.
And don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of Donald Trump because right now that's what we got. But as I learned at that Donald Trump rally, and we looked around that room, wasn't a lot of youth in there, Joey. There's a lot of older people that have the money that are holding the reins.
Apparently these debates will have no audience. Like, I don't mean like watching.
No,
I mean, there
but
would be nobody. There's
even-
no crowd live. It'll just be the moderators, Trump and Biden.
That takes away, to me, even more credibility. I understand why, because they feel like they can control it a little better. But the moderators, that just tell me that the moderators will 100% be in charge of this. They will not, and it's going to go, I won't say it, it won't go Biden's way, but they will be a pro-Biden moderator there.
Of course.
100%. And the only chance to me that Trump had would if there was a crowd there to react, but they don't want that.
Well, we'll see. But, yeah, it's not exactly happy news today, seeing all this come out. More of the same corrupt ruling class that we suspect. But
yeah, I mean, that's...
We shall see. 272-9228 if you want to hop in on the program. Erica Thomas, editor-at-large there at 1819 News, coming up. Before we hit this break and get to Erica, this part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting. And there at River Region Contracting, Todd Clark and his team are ready to help you out with that roof of yours. Doesn't matter whether it's an asphalt or a metal roof. Either one, you should get inspected on a regular basis.
Yep.
And here in Alabama, you might as well do it annually.
I would.
And
I do.
Here's the beautiful news. At River Region Contracting, their inspections and estimates are always free.
Absolutely free.
So if
Joey.
this is on your annual schedule, this isn't going to cost you. And in fact, you're going to find problems early. And that's when they're a lot cheaper to solve, number one. It's also when your insurance company will actually play ball with you.
Correct.
If you let a problem fester for 5, 6, 7, God forbid, 10 years, they're probably going to come back and argue that, no, you've been negligent.
I kind of got a feeling they will, Joey.
And so this is why you need to go with River Region Contracting. Go with them early. And then the beautiful thing is their estimates are accurate. They get the job done in the amount of time they said they would. They don't leave a mess behind. I've seen that with contractors before.
Yeah, buddy.
But not with River Region Contracting.
Never seen it.
And their insurance specialists there. So if you have an insurance company and you've been paying those premiums, you're like, but I'm still not used to filing a claim.
Yeah.
They can walk you through that claims process, make it swift and easy. So check them out today. That number, 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell the great folks there at River Region Contracting that Joey and Eddie those fellas on the radio sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Mayday, Mayday! More and more new vehicles are arriving most every day in May at Larry Puckett Chevrolet. Please contact them and let them know what you're looking for at 285-9300. It might already be on the way. Stop by and get a great deal on a pre-owned car. Larry Puckett has one of the largest selections of used cars, trucks, and SUVs in the river region. If you want to sell your vehicle, Larry Puckett will pay top dollar for it. For over 40 years, Larry Puckett's customers have been telling their friends about the great deals and service they received at Larry Puckett Chevrolet. New cars are arriving daily. Stop by Larry Puckett Chevrolet on Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville or give them a call at 285-9300 before you drop by. You can shop them online at larrypuckett.com for details on all offers. Larry Puckett's customers have been doing the talking for over 4 decades. Come by and soon you'll be doing the talking too.
The Harriet 2 Riverboat has the perfect way to start your weekend each Friday with the Spring Dinner Cruise. Enjoy live entertainment as you dine on a delicious family-friendly dinner. Add your favorite beverage from the cash bar and dance the night away cruising the Alabama River. Get your family together and make it a family tradition. Boarding starts at 6:30 and cruise starts at 7. Book your cruise on the Harriet 2 now at funinmontgomery.com.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Rich Thomas Weather, brought to you by Clark Heating, Air, and Plumbing. It's time to get your cooling system ready for the long, hot summer. Call today about the advantages of the Clark Club membership to be sure you're covered. Call 277-2125. Better call Clark. Alabama certification number 09098.
Well, hi, everybody. We've got a nice but a short break in between storm systems. Today, the best weather of the week, very warm with a high temperature up to about 85. Mostly clear tonight, low 62. Tomorrow, another warm, dry day. 88 the high on Thursday. Look for sunshine, then clouds increasing later. Then the risk of scattered showers and storms beginning in the overnight hours, the wee hours of late Thursday night, Friday morning, overnight low 67. Rain and thunderstorms Friday, locally heavy rainfall possible, high 82. Maybe some leftover showers over the weekend. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey Publix.
The River Region's News Talk Station. News Talk 93.1, WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader's still in the house.
How you doing, Joey?
Good. I'm doing even better now because we have 1819 News' Erica Thomas. She's the editor-at-large there, and she is joining us via the live stream.
Cool.
Erica, how you doing today?
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Hear you very well.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can see you. So let's begin on a personal note. You, I believe, wrote about your mother for this Mother's Day for 1819 News. Let's just tell us about her.
I did. I just felt like everybody needs to know about my mom, Bonnie Huddleston. She lives in Wedowee, Alabama. Her and my father have a business there. My dad's a mechanic, and she's the boss. And so they're very hard workers. They're truly Alabama folk. They both come from Air Force families. And her story is one of the most inspirational I've ever heard. And I know that she's my mom, but I think when people read this story, they realize she truly is a special gift and a miracle.
Well, and like if you had to throw one thing out there, well, I'll ask, why did you call her the little firecracker?
Well, she's only 4'11". Well, she says she's 4'11". I think she's 4'10". I joke with her about that all the time. So she is actually little, but you know, they always say the smaller the person, the fiery they are. She is an example of that for sure. In life, she has just always been a go-getter. She's going constantly at 110%. And even through 2 fights for her life with cancer, she never stopped. She just kept going. And so that's what the story is about, her experience with cancer. And I told her, I said, I really could write a whole book, but I had to make this a short, excerpt for Mother's Day. And it was really difficult because there's so much other stuff about her that is incredible and makes her a true fighter and an incredible human and just somebody that anybody would want to be inspired by. You can't help but be inspired by her because she's just incredible. So her first battle with cancer was breast cancer. And she had just lost her mom to ovarian cancer in 2001. And she wasn't really going to the doctor herself enough because she was taking care of her mom that lived an hour and a half away. And so after her mother passed away on Mother's Day, by the way, in 2001, she went to the doctor because she had a lump. And sure enough, it was breast cancer. And she had to go through horrible chemotherapy. At that time, it was really bad. Just very bad on her system, her little bitty system. And she had surgery, and she came out of it, fine. Just within a year, she was healed of that. And then her second cancer came along 10 years later, and that was colorectal cancer. And that fight was a lot longer, a lot more difficult for her body. Different kind of chemo. She actually had a chemo hooked to her all the time. She always had chemo in her body. And she had to have multiple surgeries with that. And eventually she got to ring the bell at the doctor's office. She was cleared and in remission. And that's where she is now. She tells her story to anybody that wants to hear. But it's an incredible story of hope and survival.
Oh, that's beautiful. And it can be harrowing. I know from personal experience when that diagnosis comes down, and it's all about that spirit and that vigilance.
It is. And she never asked, what stage cancer am I in? How long do I have to live? Her doctor told me and my dad, be prepared. You need to have your affairs in order. And I remember my dad sitting me downstairs at the house and saying, look, if anything happens to your mom, I'm just going to be a hermit. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not doing anything. I just can't live without your mom. And we had to, make sure we had all the paperwork we needed in order. And at the same time, though, she was such a faithful Christian. I just felt like no matter what happened, God was going to see us through because that's exactly what he does every time. The strength that she had, I think, definitely came from God. And I think her mom prayed that over her before she passed away. I'm about to have to leave my daughter. God, take care of her, make her strong. And that's what she's been doing. She's just been so strong the whole time. And she did say, I feel like my fight, this is different for everyone. I don't want to say, everybody can survive cancer if they're positive. I'm not saying that.
Right.
Sometimes you just can't win. But for her, it was a lot to do with what was in her mind and how she handled that. And she handled it courageously. It was an incredible story. And like I said, there's so many little stories I could tell within her fight. But one of the main things that we did together was we started a program called Just a Need, JAN, named after my grandmother, her mom who passed away. Her name was Janice. And what it is pretty much anybody that needs something that's in the hospital or their family member that's in the hospital, we're going to help them get whatever they need. That's why it's called Just a Need. So we started doing that. And the reason that we did that was because my mom's first fight with cancer, I was 16 years old. Her second, I was 26. So, and then at the time she was helping her mom, she was 36. So we realized that no matter what age you are, no matter what stage in life you're in, when you're going through something like that, it's bad for you as a person, as a patient. But it's also really bad, no matter what age you are, for your family members. So when I was in high school, I had needs. But then, 10 years later, when she had the second cancer, I had needs. I needed a gas card to get all the way to Birmingham to where she was, because I was living in Phoenix City at the time. And I needed to get there, I needed help. I needed counseling when I was 16. I needed somebody to talk to. I had no one. And so that's what Just a Need offered. And then I ended up being on the Norma Livingston Ovarian Cancer Foundation board, and we adopted the Just a Need program. And even if you go to UAB, you'll see my grandmother's picture on flyers and on a big poster in the cancer center. Anyone with ovarian cancer or their family members, we can help them absolutely free of charge. If you see the teal tags on the cars, the ovarian cancer tags, that money goes to the Norma Livingston Ovarian Cancer Foundation. And that money is used for research at UAB. Also, Mitchell Cancer Center in Mobile. We're expanding all over East Alabama Medical Center. We want to help as many people as we can. And so this has really become a life mission for me and my mom. And I think if not for what she's been through, it just wouldn't have happened. And now we have helped hundreds of people.
Well, y'all are doing a beautiful thing, truly. And I know how tough it could be from personal experience, I know. So moving on, and really a beautiful thing. Y'all go check out the story there. It's at 1819 News. Just search for Erica Thomas, you come right up. But shifting to politics here, how do you think District 2 is going to work out? In particular, with this focus of where do you think Caroline Dobson is as she heads into this race against Shamari Figures?
Well, I thought it was interesting. She came last week to the Eastern Shore Republican Women's Luncheon in Baldwin County, which Baldwin County is not in District 2. But she wanted to come and speak to the neighbors and ask for their help, because that's where she is right now. She needs help. She needs Republicans to really come together. This is going to be a hard fight for her, and she's aware of that, but she's willing to put in the work. Obviously, she already has to get where she is now. She's been all over the place. I can't think of a time where I've called or emailed and she wasn't somewhere. There's been days where they've gone to 8 different places, not even close, just on the road all day. And so that's where she is at this point. She's talked about the importance of this race and her position in it. This is going to make a difference with representation in Washington. And so that's what everyone needs to look at. This could impact the control of the House of Representatives. So that's why it's so important for any Republican to help out, just get the word out, share on Facebook, just remind people to go vote. That's going to be a big one for her. That's going to be her challenge.
Now, also, you covered the passing, and I think it was a surprise to folks. It was not expected, nor did he expect it. James Gregory passes away.
The funniest man in America. Oh, when I heard about this, I wasn't just floored. I wasn't shocked. Everybody's going to die eventually. And I remember several times where he said, when I die, when anybody dies, we got to laugh about it. We got to think of the funny, think of the positive, think of the good stuff. And so I just watched some of his videos that whole night. after I found out because he really was the funniest man. I mean, he's so funny to us in Alabama because we relate to him. He's from Georgia. And some of his stories, some of them I'll never get out of my head. Every time we have a tornado in Alabama, I think, oh, y'all, put in your teeth and wear your bra, because of the stuff that he has talked about, how the news always tries to come for the most ignorant looking person to put them on TV. I mean, tornadoes in Alabama are horrible things, hundreds of people lose lives or their homes, everything they have. But he actually can make something like that give us a reason to laugh, And so that was his gift, I think, is to take negative things and just really point out the common sense, obvious stuff and make us laugh about it.
Yeah, and we need those folks out there because going back to fighting cancer, life can have its trials and tribulations, and I think laughter continues to be, not to sound too cliche, one of the best medicines out there.
For sure. Actually, I got to tell you a story right quick about that. This was not in my mom's story, but here is how she laughed her way through colorectal cancer. She had to have surgery and she had to have an ileostomy put in, which is terrible if anybody knows. It's like a colostomy bag, but it's on the upper part. And she was very upset about that. But the night before her surgery, we made huge poster board signs to go over her bed that said, "Warning, dangerous gas," and "Stand back." And so she wanted that so that when people came in her room, they could laugh and they could have something, lighten up the mood a little bit. And so my mom, I call her Dr. Phyllis because she always helps everybody with their issues, but I could also call her the funniest woman in America.
Well, I appreciate you commemorating James Gregory in that way. And before I let you go, news for folks who might not, be living in the southern part of the state, but traveling down there. No more tolls for the Beach Express Bridge. What's going on here?
So I've been covering for over a year the back and forth between the Alabama Department of Transportation and the Baldwin County Bridge Company. BCBC owns the Beach Express toll bridge that goes into Orange Beach. A lot of people use that instead of going down 59 because of traffic, and it's just easier to go down. But after fighting ALDOT, when they decided to build a bridge nearby that would be a taxpayer bridge, Baldwin County Bridge Company is getting out of the business there in Baldwin County. And so ALDOT is actually buying the toll bridge. And so that sale is expected to close on May 23rd, and that's when tolls will stop there.
Okay, well, I mean, I've used it many times before, but that's interesting. They're just getting out of the business. They're like, we're done with this fight. Like,
well, they said in the fall, they felt like, this bridge is going to put them out of business, but also they believe that even after the legal fight, all the money they have to pay on that, they just didn't know if they would make it through. They raised the tolls for some people last fall as well, but it wasn't enough, and they're selling now. And this sale is part of the lawsuit that they filed against ALDOT. They've been fighting. This will end that lawsuit.
Okay. Oh, so they're just kind of squashing it, saying we're done with this. We're done with the
We're
fight.
done.
Tired of losing money.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
It's hard to fight against the state, buddy.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not playing fair.
All, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't play by the same rules as the rest of us.
Pretty crappy.
Well, I always appreciate your time, Erica. Great seeing you on the stream today, too. And if folks want to check, if you want folks to check out what you're writing about, think about, how can they do so?
Please head over to 1819news.com. You can see my stories and all the stories of all the reporters we have at 1819 News. We have them all over the state. We're in Montgomery, North Alabama. I'm in South Alabama with Jeff Poor. So anytime y'all want to know what's going on in the world, just check us out, 1819news.com. You can also subscribe to our daily email. You get one email each morning, and then if we have breaking news, which is pretty rare, you'll get an email about that. We're just trying to let you know, people in Alabama, what you need to know about what's going on. So you can do that. And you can also actually support us. So just go to 1819news.com.
Well, thank you again, Erica. We'll talk to you
Thank you.
soon.
All right. Bye bye.
Again, folks, that is Erica Thomas. Always appreciate having her here on the program. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 272-9228. In this part of the program before we hit the break, brought to you by Pest Pro Services.
Hey, I just had Jonathan come out yesterday.
Really?
Well, first it's funny. I didn't tell him about the damage that I had to the Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he got there, he called me immediately. He's like, I got something to tell you, Eddie. It's like, what is it? The damage, the trees that you see down?
Yeah, I know
man.
about
Okay, you know. Okay, So it was great knowing, even
Right.
though he saw the devastating news, I could still depend on him to tell me things.
Well, and it wasn't his responsibility
not
to care
by
about
no
that.
means,
Right.
no means. I
But
mean,
he's that considerate.
He
of a
is.
guy.
He was, and so we had a little chuckle about that. And I told him again, just look around the place. If you see anything out of the ordinary, call me back. Of course, he called me back at the end, let me know everything was fine, jammed up, jelly tight, and he was on his way. But it was a great interaction, and I told Jonathan I'd give him a shout out on the radio. He's a great guy. I really appreciate it.
And what was he doing for you again?
Pest Pro was doing a mosquito treatment for me because they were starting to come back, but also it was time for my quarterly treatment anyway.
Okay.
So, and it's great. They call me up just to let me know because they know I might have guests there, so they always call me up to kind of check in with me. And they know where the key's at. Real trust them, professional people, absolutely love them.
This time of year is the time to get something like
Oh,
that
man,
done.
let me tell you.
But also, like, go with Pest Pro if you're just not satisfied. Like today, in my grandfather's place, I'm taking a shower, and I look down, and there's a spider.
Yeah, itsy bitsy spider.
Yeah, and I killed it and put it down the drain. But it was like, what's a spider doing in here? Now, in that old shoddy apartment,
he expected that.
I expected spiders and all.
You
this
had
stuff.
friends in the shower,
right? But this is a nice house,
Yeah.
and it's like, so maybe I need to get him
It's a
hip to
thought.
Pest Pro there.
It's a thought, man.
Because Pest Pro Services, folks, they can help you, of course, with unique jobs like termites, mosquitoes. But if you just want general coverage and folks who are thoughtful, who go the extra mile, that's Pest Pro Services. Ashley has put together a great team there, and they really are always giving back to the community. It shows their character there. Character, in many ways, is destiny, folks. And, well, Pest Pro's been growing for good reason. That number, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or you can always go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro, Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and the great team there that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Get Memorial Day savings all month at Lexus of Montgomery. New Lexus IS 300, only $463 a month. Like the new ES 350, now just $535 a month. Luxury doesn't have to be out of your budget. And with Memorial Day savings all month, there's never been a better time to drive a new Lexus. Memorial Day savings end soon, so rush to Lexus of Montgomery, part of the Sutherland Automotive Group. VIN number RU 2410573999 to its 95,000 mile lease. VIN number R5130706 4527 to its 10,000 mile lease with 36 months with approved credit plus tax, tag, title, doc fee. Expires 6424.
For 65 years, Guardian Credit Union has been your trusted financial partner. And now we're proud to extend that trust further by introducing Guardian Insurance Services. Whether protecting your home, car, or even your business, we've got the coverage that fits your needs. Our team is here to guide you every step of the way with the personalized service you know and love. Call 334-819-7555 for a free quote today. Guardian Insurance Services, building on 65 years of trust, now safeguarding your future.
I'm Wiley Dempsey. I own Cartridge World here in Montgomery. I've been here for over 10 years. We recently moved across town to 6383 Atlanta Highway. Without Blue Water, we wouldn't be able to be as successful as we are. They got the message out to thousands of people.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Montgomery, I just have one question. What kind of car are you shopping for? If you want new Toyotas, pre-owned vehicles, and our best customer service and prices, it's all here at Toyota of Montgomery. No matter what you're looking for, the selection of new Toyotas are huge. Shop every model in every trim. Camry, Corolla, Tundra, Highlander. Plus, get an exceptional value with our certified pre-owned vehicles. They'll look, drive, and even smell brand new. The only difference is they cost thousands less. So what car are you shopping for? Chances are you can get it and save big on it at Toyota of Montgomery, because it's all here. Big selection, great values, and exceptional customer service. Hurry to Toyota of Montgomery on East Boulevard, exit 6 off 85, part of the Sutherland Automotive Group, online at toyotamontgomery.com.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for waterproof carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
Prattville Carpet is a family-owned flooring store that prides itself on personal service, quality products, and guaranteed installation. From beautiful hardwood floors to luxurious smart strand carpet, Prattville Carpet has you covered. Call, come by, or online at prattvillecarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Let's go right to the phones, 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228, and talk to Babs. Hey, Babs.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I'm just going to say, am I under the impression then that Aldott is not going to build another bridge? They just bought this one?
Yeah, I think you're right, Babs. If you...
And maybe another one will come down the line, but I think that's what's happened here.
It sounds like the government has forced private business out of business.
I'm telling you.
I mean, I think there's a country years ago, it was called Cuba. They used to do that kind of thing.
Yeah. I have a friend that lives on 14 here in Prattville, and they're fixing to widen 14 in that area, and they're taking part of her front yard.
Yep.
But I guess our 10 cents a gallon gas tax is helping pay for that bridge, huh? Isn't it $60 million?
It's a good chunk of change.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. And I'm looking here at the write-up from Erica Thomas. She said that this is from Orange Beach Mayor Tony Kennan. He said he has questions about Aldott's plans to eventually make the bridge northbound only. What the H is that?
Well, that way you can build another bridge.
Well, the northbound, I guess, will be when the hurricane comes, huh?
Right. Well, then you have two bridges that you could convert to northbound. So we can say it's an emergency reason that we
I
have to
don't
do this
know.
second bridge. Yeah.
All I know is in this economy, the government doesn't fail to spend every dime they can get a hold of. But it is what it is, gentlemen, and as usual, I listen every day, seldom call in, but I love the show, okay?
Love you, Barbara.
Love y'all too. Y'all take care.
Let's go to Kendall. Hey, Kendall, how you doing?
Good. How about you?
Pretty good. All right.
So I tuned in. I tuned in kind of late. I wasn't quite up to date with what she was talking about as far as what toll bridge got bought.
Okay, it's the Baldwin County Bridge Company sold that Beach Express Bridge, the one that gets you into Orange Beach.
Yeah, okay. I was getting kind of excited. I thought maybe they was buying the toll bridge out there in Emerald Mountain and going to close the toll bridge down there.
No, that one's still very profitable.
Very, very much so.
Yeah, it's convenient, but
it's a tiny toll bridge.
Yeah. Doesn't matter.
It's three lanes that send that many people through a day. I mean, that bridge paid for itself tenfold by now.
You ain't kidding. Well, honestly, now's the time to sell it then because it probably needs some maintenance.
See, I go back and forth on roads, how everybody does the use taxes, but some of these private roads that are based on tolls.
Yeah.
Is at least the Emerald Mountain Toll Bridge in pretty good upkeep?
It is actually, and
right.
they close it regularly when they have issues with the flood and things like that. So but I don't know, man.
I'm honestly surprised that casino back there hasn't bought it yet.
I just, you're right, and I kind of always assumed they owned it until a couple months ago. Somebody told me they don't. Yeah,
they do not.
Yeah, I was surprised. I assumed they bought that. That was the whole reason they bought it. I thought.
But you still got to pay to take the short way home.
That's true. That's true. All right. Well, thank y'all so much for clarifying that.
No problem. Thanks, Kendall.
272-9228.
I'm surprised the casino hadn't bought that, man, because that is a money maker.
Yeah, it is. Man, I have fond memories of Emerald Mountain.
Yeah?
We had a buddy who lives up there in high school, middle school, high school, and we had so much fun with the golf cart, We had our little stupid little rock band we put together.
Yeah.
Like it was also it was a day and age of Jackass, so everybody had a video camera.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so we were making stupid videos and really getting into trouble. Those fun memories of messing around.
What kind
out
of
there.
trouble did you guys get into?
I think we did ruin somebody's front yard with the golf cart.
That's just landscaping.
What I mean by trouble is like not trouble with the law, but I got to feel that guy wanted to hurt us.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I can't blame him.
Honestly, I'm the same way. As a kid, I didn't think nothing of that.
Yeah, just rain or something, just doing wheelies.
As an adult, I'll kill you. You mess up my yard. I take that very personal. But as a kid, I was like, "What are you talking? It's just grass. It'll grow back."
Well, we got to hit our top of the hour break. Andrew Szymanski is councilman, or counselor, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
But city councilman here in Montgomery. He'll be joining us for his monthly visit. Look forward to talking to him about all sorts of stuff going on around the city. And I think he's been traveling some, too.
Excellent.
Getting to know some of what's going on nationwide. So we'll be right back with Andrew Szymanski after our top of the hour break.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Investigators probing the March collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore said in a preliminary report the cargo ship Dolly experienced an electrical blackout about 10 hours before leaving the port of Baltimore, and yet again shortly before it slammed into the bridge and killed 6 construction workers. Led by lower food and auto prices, inflation in the U.S. cooled slightly last month after 3 elevated readings, likely offering a tentative sigh of relief for officials at the Federal Reserve. Consumer prices rose 0.3% from March to April. That's down slightly from the 0.4% the previous month. Measured year-over-year, inflation ticked down from 3.5 to 3.4%. The Dow ahead 302 points, the NASDAQ up 195. This is SRN News.
Biden has started tracking Christians like cattle. Yes, you heard it right. He pressured banks to tag transactions for certain keywords. One of them is Holy Bible. It's a horrifying and creepy attack on our religious freedoms. It's made possible by a digital financial system that makes you a sitting duck. But you do have other options. I recommend a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. I'm Lance Wallnau, a news analyst, a best-selling author, and evangelical leader to people who cherish their financial independence. A precious metals IRA can help you avoid the scrutiny of Biden's anti-Christian bureaucracy while also preserving your retirement savings. To find out more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word faith to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and see how a gold IRA can help you. Text faith to 989898. There are no strings attached. So text faith to the number 989898 right now and take action to protect your own prosperity.
Weather is brought to you by the Johnny Adams Law Firm. Your health and well-being can quickly be impacted by changing weather. The Johnny Adams Law Firm wants you to remain safe and be weather alert with the Rich Thomas Weather Network.
Well, hi, everybody. We've got a nice but a short break in between storm systems. Today, the best weather of the week, very warm with a high temperature up to about 85. Mostly clear tonight, low 62. Tomorrow, another warm, dry day. 88 the high on Thursday. Look for sunshine, then clouds increasing later. Then the risk of scattered showers and storms beginning in the overnight hours, the wee hours of late Thursday night, Friday morning, overnight low 67. Rain and thunderstorms Friday, locally heavy rainfall possible, high 82. Maybe some leftover showers over the weekend. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
John Bobo with Capital Tractor. Got a lot of jobs to do this spring? Save now on Kubota's BX23S tractor loader and backhoe combo at Capital Tractor and check off that to-do list. Powering Alabama, Kubota and Capital Tractor, Montgomery, Brundage, and Greenville.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. Montgomery Mayor Stephen Reed has responded to criticism of his administration by local Fraternal Order of Police President Everett Johnson, saying the perception of crime in the city is unfair. Reed remarked that homicides are down 30% and non-fatal shootings are down around 10%. On Tuesday, Montgomery police confirmed the city experienced a violent weekend with multiple shootings and fatalities spread among separate incidents. Over a dozen people were injured by gunfire, and there were at least 2 shooting fatalities in the capital city last weekend. A groundbreaking has been set for the new Pike Road High School. A ceremony will take place on Thursday, May 23rd at 5:30 p.m. on Wallahatchie Road. The school will be located on 73 acres with more than 55 classrooms, career tech center with STEM labs, state-of-the-art science labs, and 2 gymnasiums. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Make 2024 the year you break away from the chain stores and join us here at Adams Drugs. We value your business and want to provide you the best customer service at the lowest possible price. We've been serving up excellent customer service here in the River region for over 62 years.
I made the swap to Adams Drugs and I couldn't be happier. Having a job and then getting 3 kids to all of their activities keeps me busy. I don't have an hour to waste waiting on a prescription. At Adams, they know me and my family. I get in and out in minutes, and when I can't get by Adams, they'll bring the prescription right to my door.
What are you waiting for? Come in to Adams Drugs and let us earn your business. Our friendly and personal staff will talk with you and answer any questions you may have about your prescriptions. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local independent Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program, but hold your horses, folks, because we got a great guest here for his monthly visit. We have, Andrew Szymanski in the studio with me, councilman or counselor. He's on the Montgomery City Council. How you doing, Andrew?
Doing very well, Glad to be back.
Yeah, you were out of town for a little while.
Yeah. One of the things that we talk about is the fact that council is a part-time gig, and in my role as the executive director of the Alabama Scenic River Trail, I had the opportunity to go out to the National Outdoor Recreation Conference. And so I was there all of last week as both sponsoring exhibitor and also participating in the sessions, and it was pretty interesting. So
okay, what were some of the interesting things? Let's get into it.
Yeah. So your National Outdoor Recreation Conference, the individuals that are there represent everything from people that manage things like state parks and state forests, Chamber of Commerce's, municipalities, organizations like mine that do, that promote recreational use of our natural assets, whether that be Friends of the, they weren't there, but as an example, like Friends of the Talladega Forest, or like mine, Alabama Scenic River Trail. So a lot of people, and interestingly enough, it's an every other year conference. And so this is the first time they've met since COVID. And one of the things that was a central focus of the conference was that in a post-COVID world right now, more people than ever have been using outdoor recreation as kind of an escape. Our national parks are completely filled up right now. And so some of these organizations, especially like state agencies and state forest groups, are just seeing this massive increase when people go, well, I can't, it's it's a parking lot out in Zion, so I'm just going to stay and I'm going to go to Chihuahua instead, right down the road. So it was interesting, and the industry has grown by I want to say it was something like $2.5 billion since COVID.
Wow.
The amount of outfitters and people that are getting into the business. There's more manufacturers of products like canoes and kayaks and all the kind of nerdy outdoor things that people love getting over invested in. And so it was really interesting. And even just talking to a guy who builds composite bridges and overpasses in outdoor areas, he goes, yeah, I mean, we can't build fast enough. The amount of people and amount of money that's been driven into these organizations, they're asking us to come out and fix up, improve, and that was, it was interesting and interesting to see how other states are embracing that.
Now, how do you think Montgomery could lean more into that? Some of it would be more the nonprofit, like private efforts, but I've worked at Parks and Rec for 2 summers. Like, I know our parks fairly well, and I think the actual locations are pretty great, but is there a way we could lean into that more?
Yeah, I mean, I think expansion of what we have out at Lagoon Park. I mean, the Friends of Lagoon Park have done a wonderful job out there. I know Councilor Grimes has had a lot of work done out there, and identifying areas like that, increasing the amount of stuff that you can do. I was talking to somebody who had done a project in Dallas, Texas, where they had just taken essentially an empty lot and they built like a single track, they call it a pump, like mountain bike BMX course.
Yep.
And they said, it was short track. Thank you. That's what it was. And so they basically built this, and this crazy, they thought it was a crazy idea, but some enthusiasts and some clubs had been asking for this. They built it. They said it's now unbelievably popular. They've expanded the footprint out there. They've added a pavilion, bathrooms, shaded areas. There's now development going along next to it. And it's just like, so I think one thing that we could do is just get creative and figure out what's not right in our backyard. Millbrook just did a really amazing expansion of that 27 Springs or 17 Springs, whatever it is, which is wonderful. Now we got to find something that would be unique, that fills that kind of niche here in Montgomery, and whether it's mountain biking or whether it's increasing just the amount of area that's just empty and open to try something like a short track bike or something.
We got the river right there in Montgomery, and there's so many areas that are vacant now. I don't
Old
know
industrial stuff, right?
Yeah, that would be a great backdrop for anything like that.
Oh yeah, that Western Rail property.
Yes,
and then and I would really love to see, and I'm trying to figure out how we can do it, is to get an outfitter to come do more on the water stuff. We know that Whitewater is going to have a flat water component to it that does engage the river, which as I've defended on here many times.
Not beating you up about it no more. We're good. It's here.
Coming here.
Let's enjoy it.
But it's also just listening to those groups of people that are enthusiasts, and so I'm encouraging people to reach out and let us know what else do we need here.
Absolutely, because I mean, Alabama and Montgomery certainly is beautiful. We have natural beauties here.
There's a lot of natural beauty,
and we should lean into it more. And we were talking yesterday. Eddie was at Kiwanis Club?
Yeah, I did the Kiwanis Club lunch yesterday. Got invited down there.
And heard the mayor speak.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And the Stephen Reed kept bringing up Greenville, South Carolina. Yeah, which I've been to a few spots where my brother.
And it's funny the comparison. He said, Alabama used to be ahead of South Carolina, and we talked about that initiative they took, and so did he. And he said, now I don't like hearing from them because they're constantly doing a little bit better. And he said, and he had a good point. Montgomery wants to do those kind of things, but I don't know what kind of participation we get, and I don't know the holdup. But I know how Greenville. Joey's been there. We go through there quite often. I love that place. But I know they took a concerted effort at one point and said, okay, from this day forward, we're going to move towards this place.
Which was about 20 years ago.
Yeah. It took a while, definitely.
And it has to have a starting spot. I mean, that's what I tell people is like, look, I know it may be uncomfortable or it seems somewhat unnecessary to do some of these other quality of life, quality of place things while we have other major issues that our city is grappling with and trying to move through. But we can't only do one thing, and we've seen other cities lay successful groundworks. That all started with it's 28 miles long, the Swamp Rabbit Trail. There are all sorts of developments that sit around that, and that really it attracted people to want to live in a place like Greenville, South Carolina, that were not from even the state of South Carolina. And we've seen it, and we've talked about this ad nauseum. We've seen it done in places like Macon, where 40, 30 years ago, people would have been like, I never moved to Macon, Georgia. Now people are like, I definitely want to move. Or places like Chattanooga or places like Greenville. And so It's got to start somewhere, and it really has to start with a focus on building a city that your residents and new residents would want to live in.
Well, and we can give their due to the past leaders of the city. And I'm thinking back 20 years ago. That's when the move to get Riverwalk Stadium put together.
That's right.
To continue to renovate downtown, which still seems to be going fairly strong with the Renaissance Center and Impact down there and a few other things. But it's just about continuing that progress. But the one issue that is now huge, and it really blew up over the last few weeks, is the lack of policing we have in the city. By literally the lack of officers we have here in the city. From you were sitting there in that first very raucous meeting. What was your sense of the public and what they were demanding and where we can go from here?
Yeah, well, I'd say my first kind of, thought was, wow, now we have to really get to work. It's interesting. I've only been there for 6 months, and this is kind of the first time that I've kind of experienced that amount of engagement. It is very easy for council to get kind of ceremonial when there's only 18 or 20 people or less out in the crowd. And that's something that I think is important for people to realize too, is that when you're up there and you look out, when there's 16, 18 people out there, it's almost easy to say, well, if we get through all this stuff and we can go,
get out of here,
grab a burger after this is done, and I get home in a reasonable hour.
Yeah.
That was an immediate, we're here to do work, and we're here to represent all of these people that are out there. So from that standpoint, I thanked people for doing it. And I think that level of engagement is what is needed to make sure that all of us are held accountable for the timetable that we're working on, to hold the mayor and the mayor's office accountable for that. And, just in general, it shows people that work at the city that the citizens are really paying attention. It doesn't matter what, whether it's public safety, parks and rec, sanitation, street, and all that stuff. So from that aspect, it was good. We have a problem. We have a problem. And interestingly, as I think I'd mentioned on my last radio time with you, we talked about how, going back to about January, we'd been meeting roughly every other week, the Public Safety Committee. Now, I'm not on that committee, but I can sit in on them. And I've been listening to, going back to some proposals about how we fix this problem. And the primary, kind of thing that we were hearing from the police department, at the time it was, Police Chief Albert. It's continued on with our acting police chief, John Hall, is that we have to be more competitive in our compensation packages just to keep some of the bleeding, or to stop some of the bleeding, but also to make sure that if you're a new trooper, a new police officer who's considering where to go, and you have flexibility, when you're lagging by 10, 12, 15, 16, $17,000 of cities like Birmingham and Mountain Brook and Huntsville and Auburn, take all the other factors out, just that. I mean, shoot, anybody that's gotten their first job out of college or after high school or whenever is going to look at what the market is, and they're going to move towards that. Sure. So raising the recruitment, the base level is, I don't know how that fell behind. I honestly don't.
My question to that would be, if that's truly the case, which I hope it is, because that's easily fixed. We got money to bring officers in, but the sheriff's department, they don't seem to have those same issues. Are we behind when we're on pay compared to them? Is that what we need to kind of do, come up to where they're at?
Yeah, I mean, and it's going to be an arms race, right? Every time one does one thing,
that's the thing, you're competing with each other.
But I think we've lagged. Okay. And as I said, I don't know at what point we decided we weren't going to maintain that level of competition. And I know that there are people, especially on the council, that have been ringing that alarm for a while. But we have to get aggressively competitive in that area. And then on top of that, we have to look at retention.
I think that's
recruitment is a problem, but retention. We've heard from this council and from the mayor's office that we've done a lot over the more recent years about resources and making sure, and I know that there is a major backlog on some of the vehicles and stuff that are coming online. We were told very recently that new motorcycles are in town and are about to be, back out on the streets, which is great.
Give me a heads up if you would when
Yeah,
they hit the street.
I know.
Appreciate that.
Wouldn't that be something that would be great if we were
Honestly, I seen I think it was a sheriff's bike or a state trooper bike not too long ago. Joey laughed at me, but I got excited.
This guy drives like a Meatloaf song over there. It's ridiculous, like how he gets around town. We need the motorcycle.
We're all going to ask for more police
until we get them. That's right. Until I get pulled over, I'm like, how many cops we need in this town?
Right. And then also making sure that of the officers that we have here that are committed to making sure that our streets are safe, we also have to do right by them as well. And that's what we've been talking about. And it is a challenge. Interestingly enough, we have looked at different raise packages, and it goes beyond just raising that salary. It also has
more than money. Yeah, there's no doubt.
It's more than just money, but that is something that we are trying to figure out where that is going to come from. And you've seen some of those conversations had at the council level as well.
I think no doubt everything you just said with the compensation packages, with retention, along with the recruiting angle. But from looking from afar, looking in an aloof position, and been watching people through multiple mayors and chiefs, and I'm not asking you to betray any private conversations, but to me it seems like it is the money, but it's also a sense of like morale, and I would say a lack of leadership that has a firm hold on the department. And I'm saying this goes back before Mayor Reed. And so I'm wondering, I imagine you're not privy to all the talks about who they're going to look for a new chief. But to me, it seems like you need somebody. The mayor can speak volumes by who he chooses to hire for that position, whether he keeps somebody internally or we get somebody from outside. It is a culture issue within the department, is my sense.
Well, and so, yes, and I have had those conversations. And interestingly enough, some of those conversations, you kind of understand that there are always going to be people internal that, it's like any kind of office business where you're going to have some people that like somebody and somebody that don't like somebody. And I've heard from some people that have been around, 15, 20, 25 years that going back, I really liked when this person came in and I wasn't a big fan of this person, wasn't a big fan of this person. This person was really good. I think there is a balance. And I think the question really is that we've heard consistently is this question about who's got my back, who understands the modern landscape of policing, and who is going to be there to help us address some of these issues, whether it be issues of promotion, whether it be issues of leadership, whether it be issues of scheduling, whether it be issues more HR based things. I've heard a variety of things, and as a police chief, and again, I'm new to all this, so I'm not trying to say I'm any kind of expert, but from what it sounds like, one thing that people are really looking for is strength and a firm direction going forward. I think people who choose to put themselves in those positions, some of the wonderful officers I get to talk to, they want strong leadership. They want direct, and they want to know that there is a unity that seems to have been broken more recently based on the number of people that are coming to me and voicing that opinion. Now, it's not everybody, right? And I don't get to talk to everybody, and not everyone's going to have, private conversations with me, but the ones that do, that's kind of what I'm hearing.
Yeah, and it's a big problem, and it's not going to be solved overnight. But I think, in particular, when you saw what happened to Amy Dix, it confirmed a lot of people's worst fears. Like when people hear gunshots at night, and it's one thing, and I'll just be blunt, when you have young men who know each other shooting each other down, that's awful and tragic, shouldn't happen. But then when you have somebody who's not even involved in wrongdoing, is just waiting at a stoplight,
bystander.
I think that's what sets off a spark in folks who are worried about, okay, if somebody's trying to shoot somebody up in a vehicle across from, there's no sense of any deterrence out there on the street. And I think that's what's really worrying people at the end of the day, is that it wouldn't be like, oh, I get involved with the wrong crowd, or I engage in behavior after midnight, so to speak. It's like I could be going to work at 8 a.m. and this could happen.
Yeah, I mean, it rattles people's confidence in their city, in their areas, in their neighborhoods. And you know what happened on Atlanta Highway that day is tragic, and I'm glad that the spark that created has raised the level of engagement and discourse. I was at a neighborhood meeting last night for one of my neighborhoods, and we had the head of the community policing division out there, and he was pretty blunt with everybody. And we'll say, you know, not just Miss Dix, but also, you know, on Mother's Day, we had a grandmother caught, and 63-year-old grandmother who was caught as essentially innocent bystander as well. And going back during the campaign, I think it was when I was campaigning, we had it was something like a 6 or 7-year-old child where a bullet traveled through a wall. So, you know, it does not comfort people when I tell people that most gun violence is committed between two people that know each other, because sometimes the bullets don't hit those individuals, right? That's been a interesting perspective for me to have in this role now, is hearing from people directly about those. I thought it was super impactful to have those, you know, Amy's family out to the council meeting, but then also not just letting it be about a single issue, letting people know. And as you know, Lieutenant Stewart did last night at the neighborhood meeting, that wasn't the end. That wasn't a stopping point. There's been more events, and we have to put a stop to that. And he said pretty bluntly, we've got a gang problem here in this city, and we know that after COVID, you know, 35% of students didn't go back to school. Right. And what are we doing about that? And how are we going to catch that? Yeah.
Well, and it is, I think, the tough issue. But there's plenty of other things going on with city administration. And, well, I was going to ask, like, now, I guess you said 6 months you've been there. Are the things you, like, know now, like, in general, you're getting more of a grip on what the job entails, who you need to call when this particular thing happens? That it's sort of flowing now.
It is flowing a lot more. And, you know, I have to... give a lot of credit to all the people that are there committed to, you know, helping people in the city. We had big storms the other night, and I got a call from somebody that said a massive tree was down on one of the streets in the district. And I swear within 2 hours, the sanitation department was out there. They had that thing gone. And those are the nice things when you can make that direct connection, rather than me calling in and being like, hey, who's the person? You send one text message to the right guy. And
amazing how that works, isn't
out
it?
there almost immediately, and that's awesome. So yeah, but there's still so much. I mean, I think one of the hard things is, you know, nobody trains you on how to, you know, answer questions when people go talk about public safety. No one teaches me how to tell people. Without getting into specifics, some of the phone calls that I get, I'm like, you need to call the police.
Yes,
I can only imagine.
Or hey, I understand this is scary, and I know that this is, you know, I had a mother with a child who called me, who was put out of couldn't pay her hotel bill and was going to be out on the streets for night. And she just said, what can you do to help me? And it was a Sunday afternoon. And I was like, I don't really, in my mind is racing, because she's upset and all that. And thank goodness, you know, and I have met people that I now know I can call, and within, you know, 2 hours we had that person, we had a hotel room paid.
Good deal.
2 days getting them the services that they need to figure out how they could have a more long-term solution. But that's been some of the stuff. And then on the other side of it too, you know, just getting to meet a ton of people that are doing really good work. I met a woman, pastor of St. Paul AME Episcopal Church in my district, who's got this wonderful summer program where they're focused on getting kids that are kind of on the brink of staying in school into a summer program that's going to be fun, engaging, and that's going to be the bridge so that they go back to school in August. So it's I tell people it's fulfilling, and that comes with the good and the bad. It's peaks and valleys, and it's just it's good. And we have a good team. You know, I really appreciate that my colleagues and the people at the city, and especially the 2 other freshman counselors were out there and trying to do what we can.
I got a question for you.
Yeah,
the mayor went over it the other day, the Meta business that we're going to get. How many jobs are we supposed to get? Because I've heard everything from 100 to 500 to 1,000.
So I've heard in the announcement, I think I saw somewhere between, I think it was like either 149 or 179 direct jobs, but similar to Hyundai.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's where the numbers were coming from.
Yeah, the kind of depend, like the direct impact. Now that's That's huge. And I think one of the things that's a success of in all of this is that even with some of these struggles, we do have a dedicated team, both at the city, the Chamber of Commerce, and the county, who are still selling some of the great opportunities for business. You just saw this week, Genpack reopened up their plant here in Hope Hall as well. People know that this is a great place for those types of industries to open. It was kind of funny because we didn't know who was coming.
Is that right?
No. In fact, it was just had a code name, unless maybe I was the only counselor that didn't know. But
Odd man out.
Some of us were sidebarring and saying, I wonder who this big, we knew it was going to be huge. We knew it was going to be about $1 billion. And so we kept trying to guess who it was. And I thought it was, I knew it was tech. I thought it was going to be Amazon Web Service. I thought it was AWS.
Kind of was my guess, Amazon, yeah.
But to hear Meta, wow, that's exciting. High paying jobs. I wish we could compel those people to live in the city of Montgomery, but the impact will be felt. And they see what we all see, which is inland port coming and space and availability. So.
Yeah, and I'd imagine in getting that place stood up, you're going to have a lot of construction jobs, a lot of activity.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like the Fairview Road project that we've talked about before. That was designed, engineered, and is being built by Montgomery businesses.
Good.
And that's
That's
what we
good.
want to see, is that kind of focus. So
Well, that way the money's staying home, and I appreciate
as
that.
much as it can. Yeah.
Well, we got to hit a quick break here. Hey, Eddie, stop playing with your pen.
Can't help it.
I'm hearing you squeaking over there.
I play with this thing the whole time.
Right.
That's fine. That's quiet.
Somebody took my spinner. My little
Oh, your fidget spinner.
Oh. Yes, Joey. Fidget spinner.
Let's hit a break.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Get Memorial Day savings all month at Lexus of Montgomery. New Lexus IS 300, only $463 a month. Like the new ES 350, now just $535 a month. Luxury doesn't have to be out of your budget. And with Memorial Day savings all month, there's never been a better time to drive a new Lexus. Memorial Day savings end soon, so rush to Lexus of Montgomery, part of the Sutherland Automotive Group. VIN number RU 2410573999 due its 95,000 mile lease. VIN number R5130706 4527 due its 10,000 mile lease. Both 36 months with approved credit plus tax, tag, title, doc fee. Expires 6/4/24.
Every Tuesday at Riverwalk Stadium is Tacos and Tall Boys. Get your Taco Tuesday on with $4 chicken or beef tacos and $4 select 16-ounce beers at the Golden Sombrero. It's been 20 years of biscuits, so butter up with us for some Tacos and Tall Boys. That's on Tuesday nights at Riverwalk Stadium. For tickets and more information, visit biscuitsbaseball.com or call the box office at 323-BALL.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
The Health and Wealth Show. The Health and Wealth Show. The show so nice, we said it twice. Weekday evenings at 6 on News Talk 93.1 WACV. The Health.
Break it up, son. Joke's over, hey?
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
Well, hi, everybody. We've got a nice but a short break in between storm systems. Today, the best weather of the week, very warm with a high temperature up to about 85. Mostly clear tonight, low 62. Tomorrow, another warm, dry day. 88 the high on Thursday. Look for sunshine, then clouds increasing later. Then the risk of scattered showers and storms beginning in the overnight hours, the wee hours of late Thursday night, Friday morning, overnight low 67. Rain and thunderstorms Friday, locally heavy rainfall possible, high 82. Maybe some leftover showers over the weekend. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey Publix.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. We have Counselor Andrew Szymanski here in the studio, and we got some calls rolling in if you want to field some of these, Andrew.
Yeah, why not?
Let's go to Simpler Days. Hey, Simpler Days, how you doing?
Pretty good, Councilman. Thank you for coming on.
Hey, do it every month. Happy to hear from you again.
Well, I heard today that our mayor is going to be in Washington, D.C. next week at the nation's capital for a global environmental conference. Maybe he can pick up some tools on how to bring the heat on the criminals in Montgomery while he's up there.
Yeah, I mean, it is important for Montgomery to maintain a link to the D.C. area, and I don't what the mayor chooses to participate in, what he gets invited to, outside of what we do at the council level, for sure.
For sure. Do you know his position, if it's changed or it's still the same on doing away with qualified immunity for law enforcement officers?
I do not. Actually, that's the first time anyone's even brought that up to me. So I don't have an answer on that, and have not. I mean, we as counselors, we have our own leadership, and we obviously are focused on issues in our district, but not often that we're having a conversation where we're talking about issues directly or stances that the mayor may or may not have. So no, I've never had that conversation.
And my sense of that Simpler Days too is no matter what any municipality or state does with qualified immunity, that's going to end up in a pretty hardcore court case. Several court cases,
Yeah.
like because the qualified immunity is a standard, I believe, first set by the Supreme Court, the way we have it now. So it would be a long process.
Well, it's hard enough to recruit and to compete against other cities, but when you have the mayor making statements that he's against qualified immunity for law enforcement officers, it doesn't send a good message for recruitment. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
272-9228. Let's go to biologist. Hey, biologist, you're on with Andrew Szymanski.
Yeah, I was wondering what district. All right, I live just outside of going down Stone Chambers Road. And Pike Road is trying to wrap around because they just sold about 300 acres at the corner of Stone Chambers Road and Pike Road. Woodley Road, the old Seven Bridges Road.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to absorb us on this side, which I'm not a fan of that. And I grew up in Montgomery. I went to Jeff Davis High School in 1990. I graduated JD. I public school.
Nice.
So, but they're trying to absorb us on this side as the city looked at moving across the old Seven Bridges Road out of the swamp, because we get things of, hey, come to our council meeting, and they just sold that corner, which is going to be Pike Road, and Pike Road doesn't even have their own police department. It's a little irritating, and taxes are pretty high. So is the city looking at anything of trying to move my way because we have city police folks that live down in my neck of the woods. I mean, have you heard anything on that, or if the city's looking at coming across the swamp, or what?
No, I have not heard anything on that, and I guess for I'm just gonna guess. I don't really know, but I haven't had any of those conversations, and how we.
Doug Singleton's my commissioner.
Yeah, of course. Well, if you're out in that way,
he's pushing Pike Road heavy.
Yeah, well, I mean,
only because I've talked to him.
Pike Road is it's a great community, and they have a lot of things that are going from out there. Obviously, I wasn't aware that we had sold 300 acres, so it's definitely something we can look into. But
the area right at the corner of Stone Chambers Road, Woodley Road got sold, and then Pike Road had they had signs up to come to the meeting, and I guess they had annexed it down to Trotman Swamp. All that. I grew up out here, so I understand it all. So I was just curious about that because I went to get my tag the other day, and it seems if you are incorporated in Pike Road, your tags are a lot more expensive than my tag as a Montgomery County person. Like I said, they don't even have their own police department. They require on the taxpayers of Montgomery County for the sheriff's department.
Yep.
So I was just curious if the city had looked at heading this way across the swamp or anything else.
Yeah, just not something that's been come across my desk. But and one of the things I think you see all this building and activity out there. We still have land and property, and if we can get into some of the areas that we know we can do more development, our Home Builders Association, our realtors, I know, are looking for more opportunities to build homes here in the city, and so it's definitely something we want to encourage. So I hope we're not annexing large chunks of the city out to. Out there, but yeah, I guess if it's a swamp, I don't know if it's exactly buildable. I kind of
no, it's on the other side.
Oh, it's on the other side. Okay, it's a hard land. All right.
Yeah. Well, no, so I'm sorry. I don't have a good answer on that, but hopefully, no, we're not trying to bite off big chunks of Montgomery and give them to other places. We want to build more homes in our city. We need more citizens here, and we want to make sure that the businesses that are building homes and developments in the city are staying busy.
All right. The other quick question is. Take the South Lawn. If you head down towards Hope Pool, they're doing a lot of construction there.
Oh yeah,
and it's not. What is that thing? Because they've been doing that. Because where I work, I have to come through Snowden area and come into the Prattville area, kind of. And they've been doing a lot of construction. And that's not a part of that meta thing. I don't believe so, because it's on this side of the interstate.
Sure.
On the other side of the interstate. Do you know what's going on there?
I don't know specifically the area you're talking about, or the property you're talking about. I do know that Hyundai has done some expansion stuff. I know when they brought the electric vehicle manufacturing battery plant in, I know that there was some more auxiliary buildings that had to be built. So it could be something along those lines. But
don't we have a bottler?
We have
building right in there too. I think.
Yeah, we have the Mana Beverages that was coming over, and so
that might be the one you're thinking of.
and credit to our Chamber of Commerce, because they've been putting their heads down and getting a lot of stuff done in that area and creating a really viable and vibrant industrial park out there. So it's really any number of things that could probably be out there.
If you come down and there's off 80.
Yep.
Where Winn-Dixie is, you take a left there and go towards Hope Hole. It's a massive project going on, and when I saw the meta, I thought it was that.
I know what you're talking about.
It's the other side of the interstate.
Yeah, I don't know what they're building. I know what you're talking about because I saw that the other day.
Yeah,
There's actually a house across from Hyundai that's been there forever, and they've bought that. That house is going down. Yeah, and it's a beautiful old colonial mansion. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's probably held out.
For,
you know
as well.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the call, biologist. Really do.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Thank you, bud.
Let's go to Joel. Hey, Joel, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I agree the police needs a raise, but I will say that the police are leaving by the dozen, not for the money, but because they put applications in places that paying a lot less than Montgomery is. They leave them because they don't have that backs covered. Daryl, when he prosecuted Aaron Cody Smith had used the force thing as far as using taser, as using everything, till he finally had to shoot Mr. Gunn, and then he tried for murder. he's out there patrolling by himself. When you got a DA like that, police aren't wanting to stay around.
Well, there is definitely a sense out there, Joel. If I try to do my job the right way, you still aren't going to have my back for other reasons. Now, I don't think it's just the DA. If you look at some lawsuits, I still think are being brought against the city for former officers. But I mean, I keep saying it. The hire, whoever will be the new permanent chief, will speak volumes of who is chosen there, and we'll see.
I agree with you there. Yeah, I know one of the surrounding sheriffs has probably got 30 or 40 applications from Montgomery that they don't pay as much as Montgomery. I do know that they had a sergeant from Montgomery that took an $8 hour pay cut to go to Millbrook.
Yeah, I mean, and this is, Montgomery is not unique in that problem. When I was up in D.C. at the National League of Cities and I was sitting with some people, I remember sitting with the city councilor from San Antonio, and I think it was San Antonio. Man, I think it was San Antonio. But anyway, they were saying one of the big problems that they have is that in any urban police force that is surrounded by just generally quieter, more suburban type cities, it is hard. 25 to 35 to 40 calls a shift our people are doing. And you have a place like Millbrook next door where they may be doing 6 to 8, primarily domestics. And that is a tough thing. And, especially right now, as we see nationally, the amount of people that are not getting into law enforcement like they used to be, then you have this, it's just a resource issue. And just like we said earlier with the pay, that is a motivator. And, I can't imagine if you're the parent of, children and you're concerned about, the call volumes and the types of things that you're seeing, it's a challenge. And I commend the people that are doing that are here in Montgomery and other major municipalities where the job, I'm not going to say it's harder because that's not fair to anybody, but to say that it is more demanding in terms of its call volume and the amount of things that you're seeing every shift. So, you're not wrong in seeing this trend of people moving out of that, even if it means making less money, if they feel like that's the best in their own personal or their familial interests.
Yeah. Hey, didn't I hear on the news yesterday there was 13 people shot in Montgomery over the weekend?
I think the number was 12, but yes.
Was it 12?
Yes, sir.
That's a lot of folks.
Yep.
Agreed.
But hey, I appreciate the job you doing, buddy. And Joey, I always appreciate you, buddy.
Well, thank you, Joel.
Well, thank you, Joel. I
you.
appreciate that.
Talk to y'all later.
See you, Joel.
Yeah, no, in that one council meeting, a lot of people were eye-opening, and I was happy to see it was folks from all different parts of the city. Everybody was kind of on the same page here. But there was the one doctor, the surgeon, I think, was it Baptist South?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it's Baptist South.
And just some of those numbers. We see the homicide number in the sense of like people shot and killed, but the number of folks who are shot who need medical emergency, it was astounding. I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head. I remember my reaction being like, oh my God. Like, this is like, how do you survive out there?
Yeah.
And something's got to be wrangled on that. And I know everybody knows that's the issue, but dadgum, it's eye-opening. And to your point earlier, we got to keep this momentum going.
Yeah.
It can't just be in reaction to awful things. It has to be just continue day by day, week by week, month by month.
Well, yeah. I mean, and I think the important thing about having all those eyes on the city right now, I hope people are also realizing that none of us want this.
Right.
I don't care what your opinion is, me or any of the councilors, the mayor, whatever. Nobody wants.
Well, that's the thing. Everybody wants Montgomery to be better, and we know it can be better.
Exactly. And we know that there are some societal issues it's that we are experiencing, that other places are experiencing. But here, it is scary, and it is, and it's not okay.
Right.
And I don't think any of us believe it to be that. How we address that, how, having conversations like this and how we are out there keeping the public informed of how we're going to address this is important. And you said it, I think the hiring of a police chief is extremely important and something that's gonna have a lot of attention, and it's going to resonate, right? And just like anything, we're gonna have to give people the opportunity to come into that role and succeed, and we have to be supportive of that. But also we have to make sure that that we're continuing to just be good citizens to each other as well.
Let's go to Eric the dog real quick. Hey, Eric, how you doing?
What's up, Eric?
Hola.
What up, dog?
How y'all doing?
All right.
Hey, does the city council get any input on the new police chief?
So we're actually going to be asking about, I assume we're going to be asking about that. We have a public safety meeting coming up soon. So I was not here the last time the last police chief was done. I know that they assembled, there was a committee of folks. I think they had about 8 folks that were a part of that committee, leaders, probably. I don't even know the list. But so we don't have I'm not doing interviews, and nor should I.
Oh no,
right.
No.
But I do, it is, the police chief is hired by the mayor, and I know his office is already said that they're starting that process and focus on trying to get the right person to the job. I think what we can really do is make sure that all the other stuff is ready and in hand, which is why, even though it seems like we keep saying the same thing, but that is why resources, making sure the resources that they need are there, the tools, and then addressing this issue to make sure that the manpower is there as well. And we're right now hyper focused on manpower via compensation packages, because that is something feedback wise we've been hearing, not just from the past police chief, but I've been hearing from officers as well, that would be a big help. And so when the new chief is selected, and who will immediately be a partner of ours, that they have everything that they need to be successful in our city.
All right. Well, you do me one favor.
Sure.
And maybe
I
talk to
think
your
so.
other buddies out there.
Yeah.
Will you make sure the guy doesn't have any pending or previous lawsuits before you bring him out here? I heard, we're trying to use resources, and I feel like if some of these lawsuits that we're involved in weren't hanging away, we might have a few more dollars that we could actually do something with towards, police officers or whatever else, education, for the kids. And, and Andrew, I got to tell you this, I'm a bit of a hard-nosed. I can be a jackass sometimes, quite frankly.
True.
And
He's a
I get it.
turd.
Right. And you're the only one that has the testicular fortitude to even come on here and talk. I don't even know who my councilman is. And I just tried to look it up, but it was a little confusing to me, so I'll find out some
So it
other
was
way.
easier just to call up here and complain to Andrew.
Well, but this is what, but
Well, I mean,
but I know,
yeah,
but I think
Eddie.
Eric brings up a good point though, and what you've seen with the people that are out at council. I appreciate that, and two is that council, we still represent about 22,000 people, and some people have strong opinions, and buried in those strong opinions are people that are passionate about where they live. And that's just something that for a lot of people cannot change, right? We can't just pick up and move ourselves. And so I want to, give people the opportunity to give feedback. I, appreciate, being able to be on here, with Joey and Eddie, just because it gives me a conduit to what people are thinking and hearing, and we don't all agree on things. And when
but I love the fact that you come on here. I really do.
It's just it's just what I think is needed. And I think also being, giving people the opportunity to give that feedback. There's only a few avenues where it's really publicly available. One is the council meetings and the work sessions, right? People they have the right to come and comment and talk at the council meetings.
A question about the council meeting.
Yeah.
If you are going to talk, you have to register ahead of time, right?
Yes. If you're going to speak in public comment section, yes, you have to do that. And I believe we had it mixed up on the last call, but I'm pretty sure it's Monday at noon, the day before the and then there are agenda items which you can sign up to speak for as well. So you can either just do regular public comment, or you can come in because you want to give an
Speak on a
opinion. Now,
specific agenda.
there are times where you'll hear our president, CC Calhoun, say, this is a public hearing. Does anyone want to speak on the matter? That's usually zoning issues, and that's issues like liquor licenses and stuff like that. That you can just walk up and just from the floor do that. So it's a little bit confusing, but we have a wonderful team in the clerk's office. Brenda Blaylock does an amazing job there. If you ever have questions about how you can participate, how you can contact us, how you can reach out to us, reach out to the clerk's office. All the people there do a wonderful job working with us to make sure that we're getting the things that you all are trying to bring to our attention.
Well, I appreciate the call, Eric. And if you want to be a little less ornery, maybe you should stop huffing so much paint.
I'm going to go right now and watch fake Dr. Phil and get over myself.
There you go.
Good idea.
That's what I've been suggesting.
Good idea.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
See you, dog.
Well, I'm pretty much out of time here, but I really do appreciate you stopping by. And I was going to get to a question of road allocations for districts and all stuff. But we can do that next time.
I will say this. We just got a paving project that was done in the district. I was really excited about that. And it was on Jean Street, which is off 5th Avenue. And that was important just because we got a lot of businesses over there, Boosters and Walker 360 and a couple of construction companies and stuff. So some heavy trucks that are going through
Good
there.
deal.
So that was really exciting. I'll also, if I can just plug really quick, this Saturday, you've heard me talk about Normandale. I think Normandale is a community that a lot of us, Normandale Mall.
Mm-hmm.
I am sponsoring a Stop the Violence walk and community engagement event this Saturday. We'll be out there and walking around the neighborhood with the Office of Violence Prevention team, leaders from the neighborhood and the community that'll be out there. Afterwards, we're going to have some refreshments and opportunity for people just to commune with each other. And we'll be meeting at Bryant Missionary Baptist Church, and I am terrible at my job and I've forgotten exactly the start time. So I'm going to look it up for you real quick and tell you, I think it's at 11 a.m. though. And so I'll post it on my social medias. I'll send it to you all as well, just so you have it. But here's an opportunity to get out and be in the community and really let your voices be heard to people that live in the area. And I am confirming it is at 11 a.m. So yeah, we'll be at Bryant Missionary Baptist Church, 3645 Norman Bridge Road, starting at 11 a.m. We're going to walk around the neighborhood, share just the message that we are trying to be active and intentional about curbing some of the violence issues that are happening there, but across the city, and then opportunity for people to meet with each other afterwards. We're going to have to set some food and some refreshments and really just working with Normandale to help, get that out there. It's something that they're very passionate about. It's a beautiful, wonderful place, and we want to do that. So I encourage people to come out to that.
Really do appreciate the time today.
Thank you.
Y'all stay tuned. More news and views after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Montgomery, I just have one question. What kind of car are you shopping for? If you want new Toyotas, pre-owned vehicles, and our best customer service and prices, it's all here at Toyota of Montgomery. No matter what you're looking for, the selection of new Toyotas are huge. Shop every model in every trim. Camry, Corolla, Tundra, Highlander. Plus, get an exceptional value with our certified pre-owned vehicles. They'll look, drive, and even smell brand new. The only difference is they cost thousands less. So what car are you shopping for? Chances are you can get it and save big on it at Toyota of Montgomery, because it's all here. Big selection, great values, and exceptional customer service. Hurry to Toyota of Montgomery on East Boulevard, exit 6 off 85, part of the Sutherland Automotive Group, online at toyotamontgomery.com.
Honey, did you call an electrician to put in that new bathroom outlet?
No, I thought I'd just get Cousin Ray.
He's not a real electrician.
Oh, Ray's handy. He can do anything.
Being handy and being an electrician are two different things. Electricity is complicated and potentially dangerous. Each year there are thousands of home fires caused by faulty wiring. You need an expert. To wear the Crosby Electric uniform, you have to undergo background checks, drug testing, continuing education, and rigorous safety training. When you need electrical work, or if you just like someone to assess your home for safety, call the experts at Crosby Electric.
So, how about that nice outlet Ray installed in the bathroom?
Do you think it's safe?
It's fine. See, when I plug in my electric razor, it...
Now the lights are out. I am not sleeping a wink until you get Crosby Electric out here.
Don't take chances with electricity. Call the experts at Crosby Electric, 272-2085. or visit us at crosbyelectric.com.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACB.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie's having to get out of here, but you're looking good today, Eddie. Just know that. And on the phone, we have Michael Cohen of Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are y'all? How are you?
Yeah, just
now that he's gone.
Yeah, this full studio. Now I'm just all alone. I guess coming up in the next hour. But so we were, talking about Cohen's on Monday and about the great service y'all offer, but I kind of want to double down on the legacy. So how many years has it been now that Cohen's Electronics and Appliances has been in business?
Well, when my dad started, it was 1957. So that would be like 67?
Something like that?
67 this, and I want to say it was September.
Wow.
But I could be wrong about the month, but almost 67.
Well, and y'all have literally had like different generations of the same family come in. How y'all are a family-owned business. You also have customers that are Cohen's customers across the generation.
Well, that's right. That's right. I mean, we've got, I guess, grandparents and parents and kids that have shopped with us.
Well, and I think sorry.
Yeah, and to me, that's kind of cool that you do have multi-generations that come in here, and sometimes they come in here together. And, I guess in an ideal situation, you have the father bringing the son in or the daughter, and then in their later years, it's the daughter or the son bringing the parents in to try to help them with a TV or an appliance. So it's been good. It's very rewarding.
Well, and folks, anything you can think of in the electronics and appliance world, Cohen's has it. So whether you're looking to fill out a kitchen or get new units for the laundry room, or maybe you're looking for that 95-inch Samsung or Sony TV or a short throw projector, those outdoor TVs, great sound system solutions, also great seating options from the massage chair to the captain's chairs to everything in between. They really do it all there at Cohen's. So I hope you get by there, folks. Of course, you can shop online at thinkcohens.com, but there's nothing like stopping by in person, seeing Michael and the team and that beautiful showroom, 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. They're open 9 to 6, Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays.
I think you're doing a great job. And don't forget to encourage them to let us know that they heard me or you on your radio show.
Please, folks, find Michael. Be like, I heard you on with that Joey fella. I don't know about that kid, but I'm glad you're on there. Well, thank you, Michael.
All right. Y'all have a great day.
You too. Well, got to hit this top of the hour break. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. President Biden and former President Trump have agreed to hold two campaign debates on June 27th, hosted by CNN, and on September 10th, hosted by ABC. CNN says its debate will be held in its Atlanta studios with no audience. CNN holds open the door to Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s participation if he or any other third-party candidate meet certain requirements. Kansas City Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker railed against Pride Month, working women, President Biden's leadership during the pandemic, and abortion. It happened during a commencement address at Benedictine College last weekend. And a miniature poodle named Sage has won the top prize at the Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show. The Dow had 278 points, the NASDAQ up 215.
This is SRN News.
Honey, it's our favorite leaf filter trusted pro, Matt. Matt, come in, come in.
Hi, Mrs. Sparks. You wanted me to stop by? Is everything okay with your leaf filter gutter protection system?
Okay, of course, silly. We wanted you to stop by for dinner as our way of thanking you.
Yes, to thank you for that free gutter inspection, the free estimate, and what was the other thing?
That lifetime guarantee.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Sparks, those are just Leaf Filter's policies. Everyone who calls Leaf Filter gets a trusted pro to come out for a free gutter inspection and estimate. And every Leaf Filter installation comes with a lifetime guarantee.
So it's not just us?
No, sir. We don't want anyone to worry about clogged gutters ever again.
You mean everyone gets this level of service?
Everyone. They just need to visit leaffilter.com/gold to schedule their free inspection.
Okay, but you must be starving. You work so hard.
Ready to love your gutter protection as much as we do? Visit leaffilter.com/gold and get up to 30% off today.
See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
The Johnny Adams Law Firm, proud sponsor of the Rich Thomas Weather Network. You can't control the weather, but you can control your drive. Be aware of your surroundings in any weather. Be a defensive driver. Your family and friends will thank you. From the Johnny Adams Law Firm.
Well, hi, everybody. We've got a nice but a short break in between storm systems. Today, the best weather of the week, very warm with a high temperature up to about 85. Mostly clear tonight, low 62. Tomorrow, another warm, dry day. 88 the high on Thursday. Look for sunshine, then clouds increasing later. Then the risk of scattered showers and storms beginning in the overnight hours, the wee hours of late Thursday night, Friday morning, overnight low 67. Rain and thunderstorms Friday, locally heavy rainfall possible, high 82. Maybe some leftover showers over the weekend. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Web Bobo with Capital Tractor. Check out our special spring savings on Kubota zero-turn mowers, like the Kubota Z411. At 10 miles an hour, it makes cutting around bushes, beds, and trees a breeze. Powering Alabama. Capital Tractor, Montgomery, Brundage, and Greenville.
1819 News.
A police report from the city of Athens is calling into question the motives behind an attack on a Republican Party volunteer. The altercation that involved Tara Johnson being punched in the face has been determined to be the result of road rage, according to Athens police. The ALGOP first responded to the attack on Johnson as a targeted violent act due to her work at Limestone County Trump headquarters. The incident happened after Johnson had left that headquarters this past weekend. However, the Athens police report suggests that the altercation occurred on Highway 72 when one car ran a stop sign at an entrance into a Lowe's parking lot. Another car honked at the first car. Then the altercation occurred between a female passenger of one car and a female driver of the other. Police say that there was no indication this fight was politically motivated. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
I'm Amy Beth Schaefer with Alabama Unfiltered Radio, and when I need the news and I need it fast, I turn to Andrea Tice and the Daily Detail. On my way in, it is the most convenient, best way for me to digest what's going on so that I can use it for our show. She tells you what's going on in Alabama that day first and fast. So listen to the Daily Detail with Andrea Tice. Don't miss out.
The Daily Detail is available wherever podcasts are found.
3 sisters in Baldwin County are facing charges for planning to assassinate a Louisiana man. Sisters Mitzi Smith, Judy Owen, and Sandra Grimes are facing charges for conspiring to hire a hitman to kill a Louisiana man married to one of the sisters' daughter. This comes after the daughter was apparently beaten by the husband and suffered a broken hip. A Woodlawn man confined to a wheelchair has died from a shooting. Police believe that 62-year-old Michael Coleman was caught up in a drive-by shooting and was not the intended target. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
This season, The Masked Singer has gone next level with shocking reveals. At Fox tonight, we're only one episode away from the blockbuster finale.
I don't want it to end.
There's only one way to get to the top.
A monstrous 3-way battle royale. That's how you do the semifinals.
It's a special 2-hour Masked Singer event.
Tonight on Fox 20.
Now you can add the power of digital advertising to the #1 reach of radio. Let Blue Water's 20 years of local advertising and marketing success show you how. Grow your business with a complete suite of digital solutions, combined with the reach of the most listened to radio group in the River region. Call us or go to BlueWaterBroadcasting.com to find out how we can increase your return on investment. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
Craving authentic Italian? Every Friday and Saturday evening, Epicure and Jack's Tavern transforms into an Italian paradise. From homemade pasta to classic Italian specialties, let them transport you to Italy. Their executive chef, Glenn Tarantino, crafts every dish to perfection.
Discover a world of exquisite wines at Epicure and Jack's Tavern. From La Crema to Camus, enjoy their full line of wines at below retail prices, perfect for dine-in or carry-out. Savor the flavors of top-tier wines without breaking the bank. Experience the wine wonderland at Epicure and Jack's Tavern.
At Guardian Credit Union, we believe that banking should be personal, just like the relationships we build with members. Imagine a place where you're not just a credit score, but a valued part of our community. At Guardian, our dedicated team takes the time to listen, understand, and tailor financial solutions that fit your unique needs. From buying a car to saving for college and even starting a small business, we've got you covered. Come experience the Guardian difference and let's achieve your financial goals together. Guardian Credit Union, where you belong. Federally insured by NCUA.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
After damning politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels, I sometimes suspect that, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon, or as we're calling this show online, Joey Clark Live. For those of you tuning in online, this is just a humble little talk radio show out of Montgomery, Alabama. We're a little slow down here, so, bear with us. But I think we have a great local state issue here, and, it should have passed this legislative session, but it did not. And joining us to talk about this, we have Angela Shepard and Debbie Wood. How are you two ladies doing this afternoon?
We're doing great. Great.
Yeah, good to see you both.
Good.
And so this was the bill that we're going to talk about, and it failed to pass. It was the idea that you essentially have an automatically triggered audit, correct?
I mean, yeah, in essence, yes. I mean, it's a mandated audit, post-election audit.
Right.
But yes, it was only one precinct, one state or county race.
Right.
So
in all 67 counties.
So why didn't this pass? Because to me, this makes basic sense. And I believe I saw a headline on 1819 News today that Alabama is only one of 2 states without post-election audits.
Yes. Yeah.
So what happened here?
Well, I was just going to, I think I corrected myself over since that actually came out. But so it was New Hampshire and Alabama. New Hampshire has apparently a lot of counties. And so with that, they have a lot of recounts. And so they have an audit on those recounts, but a percentage of those. And so, yes, they do have an audit, but it's a smaller audit. But yeah, in essence, I think I would be safe to say that I think Alabama is the one of the last states to get a post-election audit for sure. Some sort.
Because we've talked about this leading up to it, and it didn't make its way through committee, right? And it looked like everybody was in agreement. This is just basic common sense. It didn't seem like it was burdensome for, local folks or for the Secretary of State. In fact, it probably would help them do their jobs even better going down the road. It seems like sound business practices. So what happened here? Why did it not get across the finish line?
Can I share a little bit of my story first?
Yes, ma'am.
I would love to do that. I first became a candidate in 2002. I was just kind of like you. On the radio, I had a radio program called Talking Real Estate. Radio was king in our town. We had a small station. We had a great personality guy who everyone listened to before the internet. And I would go on his program once a week, and we would talk about new homes that are entering the market, what are the best rates, financial options, just everything about real estate. It was great. It was a lot of fun.
Right.
And one day he asked me a political question, and I answered it. I was PTO president at a local school. I had 2 children that were in elementary school, so I was very involved and having my own small business. And I answered the question, and then the phone rang again, and someone asked another question. And by the time I made my 3-mile journey back to my office, they were saying you need to run for county commission, which I did. And I ran against the county chairman and won. And then I ran again and again and again. And then I ran for state representative. And I won. I had the most votes, but didn't get 50%, so we went to a runoff. And I only won by 6 votes.
Wow.
And I picked up one more vote during the provisional ballots, which meant, if you're playing football in Alabama, 7 is a great win. But when you're running as a candidate, 7 votes is extremely close. And I know there's been people that have won by 1. But what it taught me was, and I had to really, it was very humbling for me. I had never really appreciated all those votes. Because I took them for granted.
Right.
I took those votes for granted because I never had such a slim margin, and had people that came into the grocery store, Walmart, and looked at me and said, it was my vote. It was my vote. And they would tell me their story of how they went to do an absentee ballot before they left town to go on vacation, or they went and picked up their neighbor, and I thought, it is their vote. And so I have looked at voting so differently since that time. And I appreciate now more than ever people taking the time to go and vote. This ballot, this audit bill, for me, was all about telling the voter, we appreciate you, and we're going to make sure that your vote counts, and we're going to make sure that the votes that shouldn't count don't count either. That's what we were after. We were after the integrity, and to make sure that people know that it's important, because if we ever lose the voters, if they ever say, it's not worth it, why am I going to go stand in line? It really doesn't matter. Because, after the presidential race with Trump, a lot of people felt that way. So our job now is to say, we value you. We know that you're important. Without you, we can't be here. So that's what we tried to do with this bill, because the tabulators that we have in Alabama, the DS200s, are not connected to the internet. Everyone will tell you that. But they're programmed by a company.
Right.
And have you ever been to vote and the machine goes down? They come and they work on it. They bring it back up for the end of the day. So what we wanted to do was focus a bill on post-election audits that would even check those machines. And being a county commissioner, I know those machines are older. They're too old. May I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
How does your phone?
My phone, probably 3-4 years.
3-4 years. Most people change them now every 2 years. All right. What about this technology that's here? Your computers, are they 10 years old?
Some of this is older than me.
Some of that, but
this is
your
right.
phones, your computers, all of those are updated because there's new technology. They work faster. They're smarter. We're using machines in the state of Alabama. Some are over 15 years old to count our votes.
Oh, goodness gracious.
See, you're like everyone else. No one knows. We tried to shine a light on that, but when you shine a light on a problem, what does everybody look at? We got to replace them. How are we going to find the money? What are we going to do? Please be quiet. When Angela came and shared her story to me and showed me that she had put a paper copied ballot in a machine and it read it and counted it, that was serious to me. Other people said, be quiet. You shouldn't have done it. You're a criminal for doing that. I'm thinking she is trying to expose an issue that we have with the technology that we're currently using, and they're trying to quieten her voice. We don't need to do that. We need a solid bill to address the problem. If the machines that we are using are doing the job, keep them. If they're not, let's find a way to replace them. That's all we're trying to do.
And to give folks, that's the voice of Debbie Wood. She's state representative. It's what, you live in Valley?
I do, yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And so you've been there since, what, 2018?
Yes, I've been elected to the House since 2018, yes.
So you've it's not like your first rodeo. So you've been there a few
Yes.
sessions. So back to my initial question, I appreciate all of that you just shared, really do. What happened here? Why didn't this get across the finish line?
Well, I am a chatterbox, just so you know. But
I love that.
Yeah, but let me say that we worked very hard with the probate judges to try to have a bill that we felt like that everyone felt comfortable with. And we met several times before session started and into session. We had a lot of conversations, and we had some that just were not comfortable with the bill. What I have learned is politics is all about compromise. No matter how you want to have your way, and no matter how you feel passionate about what you're doing, if you're unwilling to work with people and compromise, it's very difficult to get anything to pass. So we worked a long time, Angela and I, Robert, she can talk about him a little bit, that helped write the bill, with all of these individuals that felt like they were role players. They were important across the state. A lot of the probate judges did not want the bill. They said, we don't need it. We do pre-election testing prior to. We check those machines before we go. They do a testing. So we don't need it. We don't need it.
Well, and sorry for interrupting you, but have y'all found, especially you being there in the legislature, is this like a point of pride for them? Like you're questioning the integrity of how they're doing their job by even suggesting we have, which to me seems like you're being a little thin-skinned, and I can say that, I guess, being a radio guy, that seems absurd to me.
Well, that's a good question. I think that the way I would describe it is that it does cost money to do a post-election audit. It does cost time and energy, resources. You have to find the people, all of those things. And I do feel like, or what was echoed to us from those individuals, is we don't need it. It's a waste of our time, and we would rather not do it, which I felt uncomfortable with because I feel like that's their job.
Right.
You know, part of your job is to ensure that we have accurate voting in the state, and not saying that they're not doing their job, but the machine is a machine. That's what it is. If your phone doesn't work correctly, you typically take it and get it checked out. You either change that technology or you get it repaired, and you use it. You practice with it. We take these machines, we put them sometimes in a uncontrolled environment. And what I mean by that is there's not temperature controlled. No one's really watching the machines. They're stored. Then in small counties like ours, they're living on the back of a pickup truck.
Right.
They can fall out of the truck. I mean, there's all kinds of issues that can happen. And I want to say, I think our probate judges do a fabulous job. I'm not saying that they're not. I think this is an extra layer of protection, even for them, to ensure that the technology that they have is working correctly.
Now, did this include things like, was it just after a general election, or did it include also primary election?
This bill only included the general election.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because one of my colleagues brought this up last time you called in, Angela, and I think he made a fantastic point that if there is any ballyhoo, if I use that word, going on here in the state, it's probably going to be at your primary level.
Which is what's probably going to give us pushback if we were to change that, because at primaries, your numbers are so much closer. You're going to, you deal with the potential of contested elections, of course. So then they would want it outside of that. And what does that look like? And, there would have to be a lot of conversations to go on. I thought it was a great idea as well. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, I could totally see the pushback from that. We already got a good amount of pushback just being in general elections. So I don't know.
I think that we really tried to come up with a compromise that would do what we wanted it to do, begin the process of post-election auditing, hoping that the probate judges in the counties and even the state would see, we've got some machines that need to be replaced. We've got some practices that we need to look at. I can tell you this, we are all on board for a procedural audit as well, but we thought, Lord, if we throw that in, they might run us over with their car. We were like, if the machine reads 1,200 voters and your book reads 600, where's those others coming from? Those are issues that are coming up in states, and it's real easy to get to the end of the night and you're worn out. These people stay all day long. Not only are they checking people in, they're typically interacting with friends and relatives and people that they know. And by the end of the day, you're just completely, spent, and you're ready to go. And we just want the public to understand that we feel like their vote is worth looking after. Taking control of that and saying, I can tell you without a doubt, you are a voter, a good voter, your vote counted.
Well, I got to hit a quick break here, but again, we're talking to Angela Shepard and State Representative Debbie Wood. Before I hit the break, though, this part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And they're at Alabama Home Mortgage, Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon. Well, they can help you whether you're looking to buy or refinance right now. And, given the economy and all the national and international headlines we're seeing in the world, you need to rely on local folks you can trust to actually get to know you, get to understand your goals in buying a home, refinancing a home. When it comes to buying, it all starts with that pre-approval, and there's some of the best in the game, folks. That pre-approval is actually worth the paper it's printed on, and it'll help you understand your budget, and sellers will take you much more seriously, but they'll walk with you every step of the way from pre-approval all the way to closing day. They're at Alabama Home Mortgage, and if you are looking to refinance, it's a great way to unload credit card debt off your back if you have equity built up in your home, or maybe you just want to reinvest in your property or your family. There's a lot of reasons you might use this, and they can help talk you through it there. And of course, they are also hip to the latest with VA home loan programs. Whether you're buying or refinancing, that is the best game in town. Veterans,
no money down, and all of your closing costs can be paid.
Yes, ma'am. It really is the best game in town. So veterans, if you're not taking advantage of these benefits you earned through your service, you're leaving money on the table, and you don't need to be doing that. So call up Alabama Home Mortgage today, 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies like Kim and Madeline. Prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Montgomery, I just have one question. What kind of car are you shopping for? If you want new Toyotas, pre-owned vehicles, and our best customer service and prices, it's all here at Toyota of Montgomery. No matter what you're looking for, the selection of new Toyotas are huge. Shop every model in every trim. Camry, Corolla, Tundra, Highlander. Plus, get an exceptional value with our certified pre-owned vehicles. They'll look, drive, and even smell brand new. The only difference is they cost thousands less. So what car are you shopping for? Chances are you can get it and save big on it at Toyota of Montgomery, because it's all here. Big selection, great values, and exceptional customer service. Hurry to Toyota of Montgomery on East Boulevard, exit 6 off 85, part of the Sutherland Automotive Group, online at toyotamontgomery.com.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. Did you know the current national average turn time to close on a mortgage is 48 business days? But not at Alabama Home Mortgage. At Alabama Home Mortgage, our average close time is 16 business days. That's a month faster than the rest. How do we do it? With over 60 years of combined experience in the industry. Our team knows mortgages. Our years of experience yield a better experience for our customers. Folks, time is money. Whether you're looking to buy or refi, Don't waste time with another mortgage company, bank, or credit union. We close on time every time. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our fast turn time is just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586368, Equal Housing Lender.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
The Health and Wealth Show. The Health and Wealth Show. The show so nice, we said it twice. Weekday evenings at 6 on News Talk 93.1 WACV. The Health...
Break it up, son. Joke's over, hey?
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by H&H Carpets, where you will find a complete line of Mohawk carpet with exceptionally clean, smart strand fiber. It's always available and ready to be installed. H&H Carpets, across from Walmart on the Atlanta Highway.
Rich Thomas weather. Well, hi, everybody. We've got a nice but a short break in between storm systems. Today, the best weather of the week, very warm with a high temperature up to about 85. Mostly clear tonight, low 62. Tomorrow, another warm, dry day. 88 the high on Thursday. Look for sunshine, then clouds increasing later. Then the risk of scattered showers and storms beginning in the overnight hours, the wee hours of late Thursday night, Friday morning, overnight low 67. Rain and thunderstorms Friday, locally heavy rainfall possible, high 82. Maybe some leftover showers over the weekend. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank has digital banking solutions to help you keep up. Check balances, pay bills, and much more. Learn more at cbsbank.com. Charges and fees may apply from your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for information. Member FDIC.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to join in on the conversation. Again, we have Angela Shepard here as well as State Representative Debbie Wood, who is, I'm sorry, sometimes the headphones can be a little much there, Debbie. I've turned the other one. They flip. There's a little lever right there.
Wait a minute. I'm still...
Flip it down.
Yeah, there are multiple
right,
pivot points and joints there.
Like your right hand needs to flip that one. There you go. Oh my goodness.
Okay, I'm here. I'm back. Was that great?
Yeah.
That was television in the making. You should
live radio. We can find it online if you want to watch that.
I'm sure I would be able to do a Rubik's Cube after that.
So, expand this out a little bit, and what did you think of this past session? How productive did you find it? No, you don't.
It was. I will tell you what I told my colleagues. It was the strangest session we've ever had. I think when we started off and IVF hit us right off the bat. We were in the middle of gaming negotiations. We had a lot of support on one side for gaming, and then we had non-support, and everyone was putting pressure, and then IVF happened, and we had mothers calling us and saying, I've completed my shots, I'm supposed to get retrieval today, and the clinic's closed. This is my life. I mean, it literally put parents in our state on hold. Regardless of what you think about it, it was such an emotional time for individuals. And we knew that the thing we had to do was focus on getting families back together with their children, making sure that they had an opportunity for life. And that's what they were asking us about.
Right.
So when we went into session, none of that, was on our radar. We knew gaming was on our radar. We knew there were some other things that we had tried to pass previous sessions that didn't get passed that we wanted to make a priority. But very strange. I don't know if you watched us in the beginning, but there were very few bills that passed.
Right.
Probably for 2 months.
Right.
You're sitting there going, we've had 12 bills that have passed both the House and the Senate. This is very strange, or I'm just using that number. But then at the end, things got to rolling, but it was very strange. We also, for the first time ever, took 2 weeks off in March. We normally have 1 week off for spring break, and we coordinate that week with the week for the schools in Alabama. So if you have legislators that have children or grandchildren and you want to take a family trip, we encourage that. That's what it's for. But we had a constituent services week that was also called. So in March, we only attended Montgomery for 2 weeks instead of 3. So we went in, we had IVF, we got over all of that. We came into March, we had 1 week, we were off, back a week, off a week. So it's hard to stay in rhythm, I think.
Sure.
Committees tended to move a little slower, it felt like to me. But in the end, it all worked out. I want to say that. And everyone worked extremely hard. What most people don't realize is we normally would break. We have 30 days to conduct business. We meet typically 2 days a week. 1 day is set aside for committees. So everything goes through a committee structure. Once it comes out of committee, then it's put on the House floor. So we were meeting 3 days a week because of IVF instead of 2. Most of the time we break, go to lunch. We didn't. We stayed in the chamber. We were in the chamber more hours than we have ever been since I've been in session. We allowed debate longer than, and some would say that's good and some would criticize that. But I think leadership, they have a handle on that, and it's very important that voices are heard. But it was different. It was very different, I will say that. And I think if you talk to the other representatives, they would say the same.
Oh, yeah, and it struck me after that softball game, a weird rivalry started up between the Senate and the House, and it did seem like, and I don't think it was because of what happened on the baseball or softball field, but it was odd. I'll give you that. I certainly will give you that. I'm going to go to the phones here. Let's see who we got on here. You're on there. Who's this?
Red Top, good afternoon.
Hey, Red Top, you got a
To all
question?
you guys. I know about the State House because I painted 60 offices in it, and I might have painted your office.
Well, thank
Both
you
of
so
y'all.
much. Thank you for painting my office because it sure does
They
look
were-
nice.
They were horrible, and let me tell you, when it happened is when the House went from, or the Alabama legislature went from Democrat to Republican.
Okay.
So I went in on Tuesday, nothing but pictures of Obama and Clinton on the walls. I go in Thursday, nothing but pictures of Republican presidents on the wall. This happened in 48 hours. They made sure they got rid of all the Democrats in the hallways.
Getting the important things done.
Yeah, yeah. And you have to admit, first day of session is the most loving people in the world when they meet first day, don't you think?
Absolutely.
I'd never seen such love in my life in the elevator at the State House as the first day of session. And I was going, what the hell is going on here, guys? This can't be real. And y'all know I'm not exaggerating, am I?
No, you're not. You're not.
It's so bizarre. And but my question is, in reference to some commercials they've been starting to show the past maybe 3 weeks or something about these 2 young ladies. There's these 2 women driving in the car. Cop pulls them over.
Yeah.
says, we got to give you a pregnancy test. And then I started to realize, and I've heard a few more reports of that, this what's going on are doctors reporting to the state about women getting pregnant? Is that what that bill was about?
No.
There was no bill. So let me tell you that is just outside influences coming in trying to sway voters for your congressional races, for your statewide races. The bill that we passed that started a lot of people talking was, we didn't pass just a heartbeat bill in Alabama. We passed a bill that at conception, it is life. So when the Supreme Court went back to look at there was a lawsuit because some of the embryos were destroyed. Mm-hmm. And when the embryos were destroyed, the family says, you have killed our children. So the Supreme Court pretty much upheld that. And when they did, it came to us to try to make, and there were a lot of people that felt like we were going to move in an opposite direction and pass legislation that would make it heartbeat instead of conception. We chose not to do that. What we did was passed a bill that stated that we would hold any facility that's handling embryos harmless unless they maliciously hurt an embryo. And that's what we try to do, because the hospital that was being sued, they wanted to not only bring a civil case, but another case that said it was murder, a criminal case. And so with that,
did a very good job on that.
Yes, so we
but let me say, because I know time's moving, the main thing I'm concerned about is government surveillance. They give the impression that the state is watching who gets pregnant in that commercial. Is that any reality to any of it at all?
No, there's none there. They did the same thing. I think Katie Britt in the Senate, United States Senate, teamed up with some other Republicans called the Moms Act, and it was supposed to give just a one-stop shop, more resources for pregnancy, and just going through that, and people started claiming it was a surveillance program. It's one of these things, what do they call it? A lie that they're pushing because it's political season.
Yeah, okay. That's comforting, guys, because as a child of the 50s and 60s and 70s, I don't trust the guys, none of them. And I still don't. I ain't never going to trust none of you guys in the government till y'all legalize marijuana. Roll Tide.
Well, and when you lived during that era, I hope that we don't see footage of everything that you did.
It was all love.
Hey, but I will tell you something that you brought up that's really good. What we need to be focusing on is we have a lot of women in the state that enter education. And do you know that we do not offer our teachers maternity leave? And that was another bill that I tried to pass that did not pass this session. But
that's just dumb as hell.
But I'm telling you, that's what we need to do. We need to be doing things to encourage people to go into education and take care of our children, but yet we tell them, don't go have your own babies unless you're going to have them during the summer. Is that the craziest thing you've ever heard of?
Yes, ma'am. Well, see, Alabama's depending on the Guatemalans to increase the population in the state. At this point, it looks like little Guatemala in some parts of some of our cities now. With that.
Well, I appreciate it, Red Top.
Thank you so much.
272-9228. Before I run out of time here, because we do have another break coming up, I wanted to ask you, Angela, because I said this after I hung up with you the other day, that I can remember when you first stopped by here, and nothing about, the radio and all that. It was more about, oh, look, these are good everyday folks who realize something is deeply wrong in the process. And there's a part of me that, because I've been around this long enough, that is like, dadgum, she's going to have to watch how the sausage is made. And I'm wondering, what was that experience like as you got into this, and you're going to stick with it.
Oh, yeah.
But as you got into this, what was it like seeing the realities of how the legislative process actually works?
It was very different than I thought it was. I mean, I when I first came to Debbie last session, 4 weeks left, and I'm trying to get her to push this bill, the post-election audit then, and she's, I know she's behind the scenes going, this girl's crazy, and why is she trying this? It's not going to happen, whatever. We ended up getting it out of committee. I don't know. I guess I'm just crazy. I love the election process. I love, just seeing these things. It's been tough. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's been a hard session as far as seeing, how this really works. But it not passing this session just gives me even more motivation to keep fighting for this, because it is important. And, and there's a reason it didn't pass, and I'm going to just stick with that and keep fighting for this, because it is important. And it is funny. I think back to 3 years ago, actually, when I came in here, it'll be 3 years in August when I first stepped in here, and where I've come, like where I was then to where I am now, like being like hardly speaking that day that we came on the radio with you to now is just, it's crazy. I don't even know what to say.
But we need more folks as crazy as you getting involved. I'll put it that way.
I want to show you this. So I met Angela at an East Alabama Republican women's meeting, and she came and told me her story, and I was just like, oh my goodness. So she put her name in my phone. I want you to see what she put in my phone.
It says Angela Shepherd, crazy ballot lady.
That's what she put in my phone. And after I left there, I started listening to it, and I think it is funny, but then I thought, we should be ashamed. We have made someone that uncovered something feel like she is crazy. And that's what the response was to her. Look, you don't know what you're talking about. You shouldn't have done it. What you did was illegal. All of these things they said to her, instead of us coming around to her and going, thank you for uncovering this. Thank you for making us aware of this. And it's because we didn't figure it out. Well, that's what being a good citizen is all about.
Amen.
That's what we're supposed to do, is listen to those people that take the time. She has no pay. She takes time away from her family to pursue this, and yet she's called crazy. Right. She's not crazy. She's passionate about something that she uncovered. And I'm thankful that she uncovered it. And I want to find a path to get this bill passed so that she feels like everything that she's done was worth it. Worth it.
Well, and I have worked in talk radio nearly 13 years now. You ain't actually crazy. I've met actually crazy before.
Thanks, Joey.
Like, goodness gracious. Like, you're just passionate. You care about the issue. And it is frustrating to see that, folks I think some folks get all personal about it. What are you saying? We're doing something wrong? It's like, no, we're just trying to create a more robust process to folks say, what's in it for me? There's a lot of horse trading, a lot of transactional nature to the legislative process, but I appreciate y'all both pushing this session, and feel free to stick around here. We only got about 15 minutes left in the show. Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
I'm a first-time crawler.
Hey, Crawdad, how you doing?
It's a nice lady's a question, very simply put this way. There's been a lot of kerfuffle. That's a funny word, kerfuffle. That down everybody. Are we redoing this reefer madness mentality in Hearst? Because medical marijuana is a hot topic, and I am interested in seeing, are we ever going to have medical marijuana to be approved in Alabama so people can benefit, or is it just not a money-making thing for certain people?
Well, I would love to answer your question. We did pass legislation to allow it. I stood at the well and gave my opinion, and this is my opinion. I am a cancer survivor.
Yes, ma'am.
One thing that I learned when I went through cancer, I learned a whole lot when I went through cancer about myself. But
Amen.
One thing I learned is we are all the same when you get below the skin. If we all have the same type of cancer, then we all get the same type of treatment and it works. So we need to stand together on issues like this. We need options other than opioids in this state to manage pain.
Thank you
We
very much.
need options in this state other than opioids to help people get out of bed every day. And listen, I understand, and I will say this. If I had never gone through cancer, I would have been one of the naysayers. Unfortunately, I can confess that to you. I would have stood behind my biblical background, my church, and said, oh, we really don't need that. I can tell you this. like I said, you sure do mature when you go through something that's life-changing.
Yeah.
You understand people on the other side. You understand how important it is that we offer options that we've never thought about before. So I was one of those that said, we need it. We need to get this done. Now's the time. Now, all the things that have happened with the growers and with the permitting and everything that has taken place since then, I've been very disappointed in. The public's very disappointed. I've had a lot of calls. People are disappointed that we won't allow you to smoke it. You know, it's going to be gummies. I've heard that the gummy color is only going to be peach because we do not want to entice children. I'm all about that. I have 3 precious grandchildren. And now I'm hearing that there's going to be a pill that we're going to name the pot pill in Alabama. You would think we would come up with something a little more creative, and that may not be the name that sticks. But I can tell you this, there are a lot of us that are represented in the House that represent the people of Alabama. And, you know, and we're 105 people that represent 5 million people, and we all have different views and attitudes. But what we're supposed to do is listen to the people and be there to pass legislation that helps them with their life. And I can tell you this, medical marijuana will help people live a better life, and we need to get on it, and we need to get it done.
I appreciate one more, Schmate. You said that we're all being corralled into going to pain management because my little old GP doc, for instance, he can't do this and he can't do that for various reasons. So what you're describing there, it takes money out of another. There's got to be somebody who's just looking, how do we make money off of this? So you keep doing what you're doing. God bless you. You sound like a trooper.
Well, thank you for calling in. I've enjoyed talking with you.
Thank you, Crawdad.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's refreshing than talking to me. Like, seriously, I can just be just ornery some mornings or some afternoons or all day, really.
So what's your nickname? He's Crawdad. What do they call you?
Oh, I have many nicknames.
I think I do too.
Right. I've been called many
when
things.
You're elected, that's right. You're called a lot of different things. But you know, this is great being able to talk to different people that I don't get to talk to on a daily basis. But I do think that medical marijuana, we've dropped the ball. We need to get ready. We need to offer this to people because we have a serious opioid problem in this state.
Oh, yeah.
Very serious. And it is taking the lives of people. And then we've got fentanyl that's coming in on top of that. And but there are some people that truly need pain management and need different options in this state. And we need to provide that.
We got a bunch of calls rolling in here. You're on there. Who's this? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, I'm talking to some lady here.
It's me. You're talking to Love.
Hey, Miss Love, how you doing?
We blessed. Ma'am, I want to know about the veterans. I'm a retired military veteran. But the veterans that feel like they're being left behind, and what changes have y'all made with the VA system? Because they even had a scam going on that I found out about. They had this thing called the White House, and you press line you could call. And after calling, matter of fact, I got about 10 or 15 things I put in. But found out from one of the patient advocates, she knew everything that I sent to the hotline, so it was a scam. How can y'all help the soldiers so we won't be left behind? And so many of them have died on the VA, different VA, the hospital parking lot because of this. I'll hang up and I'll listen, ma'am.
Thank you, Miss Love.
Thank you. First of all, I'm going to give you just a moment to hang up your phone because I want to thank you for your service and everything that you've done. And most of the time when we find a veteran that calls in, multiple people in their family have served. And because of you, we can vote, we can drive our cars, we can be free in the United States. And I do think that we take you for granted. Veteran Services is a federal program. But let me tell you what we've done in Alabama to try to help with services. What we've done is every year we have a veterans package, and we try to identify ways that we can help veterans in this state want to stay in Alabama, and how can we make their life and the process of moving to Alabama better. So just an example, I passed a bill I was asked to carry, and it allows a family that's transitioning with their papers to come into Alabama, that they do not have to have a home physical address to get their children enrolled in school. Sounds like a little simple thing, but it can be very difficult to enroll your children when you don't have a power bill, a water bill, a home address, So what we did was we passed a bill that said that if you have orders that say you're coming to Alabama, you don't have to have a physical address. You can give us that physical address afterwards. Go ahead and get your children enrolled. That's the most important thing that you can do. That was just one of the bills that we passed. There's multiple others, and a lot of those do affect people who are currently in the service. They don't necessarily affect people that have retired, that have already provided the greatest years of their life here in Alabama. But we do have people that are located within counties that can sit down and go over your paperwork with you, can help provide services, direct you into the right place that you need to be. A lot of those positions had been cut. Those are being refilled so that we can ensure that veterans have what they need. We've updated or made sure that our hospitals have the adequate equipment that they need locally. And I know there's so much more that we can do. And I know just this little bit that I'm telling you probably doesn't warm your heart because of all the service that you've given. But I can tell you this. A great many of us in the House and in the Senate understand that without you, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't even be elected. We wouldn't have a free process. So anything that we can do to help you, that's what we want to do. One more thing about scamming.
Yeah.
I wish there was a way in this state that we could identify these people and find them and prosecute them.
Hear, hear.
But they're smart. They use technology. They're not based here. I'm going to give you a really quick. I got a phone call from a lady in my community, said, I'm in Florida. My mom is in Valley, Alabama, and she has been scammed. She actually took money to the UPS store, $60,000. I'm not going to say her name. And she sent it in because they told her that if she didn't do it, look, your eyes are as wide as mine, that if she didn't send this money in, she was going to jail. Well, her daughter had not been on a vacation in 3 years because she was watching her mother.
Right.
She left others in care, and this is what happened. But I want to tell you one thing great, and I can never say enough about what happened that day. I told this lady, I said, ma'am, I may not can help you, but I'm going to try. First of all, you got to answer your phone when people call. We are elected to serve 365 days a year, not just when we're in session. So I do the lady's name, didn't know her, she wasn't in my phone. I actually picked up the phone and called the Attorney General's office. Cam Mixon answered. I knew him personally from working on another bill. And I said, this is my issue. And he said, well, Debbie, I don't know if there's anything we can do, but I'll call you back. Called me back within 10 minutes and said, we've got someone that works here for the AG's office that's been with the FBI, knows exactly what to do. Because I had an address where she sent the mail. All this, it ended up being a UPS store. But all of this to tell you, our Attorney General's office got involved, and we got that money.
Amen.
We saved that money. And if I don't do anything for the time of service that I've been allowed to serve, that will be one thing that I will always appreciative of, that we were able to save that money.
I really appreciate you sharing that.
Scammers are everywhere, ma'am. I wish we could get them away. Just don't fall prey to them.
I've seen
Don't fall prey to
it
'em.
myself. I got to hit a break here, but very quickly, and I apologize, ladies. This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And we know, guys, things can happen as we mature, ED, or it could be more generalized, low testosterone. And it's nothing to deny, put off, be ashamed about, not something to wait to get fixed. I know guys hate going to the doctor, but Montgomery Men's Health was created to take care of guys who are just a little hesitant. It was created just for you. And the reality is, gentlemen, pills often quit working. Guys start making excuses for not coming to bed. There are now even studies that show men will be more irritable and argumentative right before bed just to avoid failing at intimacy. So if you've noticed a lack of motivation, drive, and including a sex drive, you're always tired, perhaps you're seeing unwanted weight gain, loss of muscle mass, well, knowing whether or not you have low testosterone is huge in combating some of these issues. And the providers there at Montgomery Men's Health will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup, plus a consultation for only $99. And they have low-T treatments there at Montgomery Men's Health that can truly change lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym, better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism. You usually even notice an increased libido, is just a fancy Latin word for sex drive. You can actually book the same day that you call. Guys, it's time to feel amazing and hit your goals this year. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group. Selling a home in the river region in this market takes some planning and preparation to be successful. Here are some steps to take to get your home sold fast. Remember the 5 Ps. Prepare the home, fresh coat of paint inside and out, and complete any repairs needed. Professionally clean the home. A deep cleaning of floors, cabinets, windows, and blinds will leave a great impression for future buyers. Provide a home warranty for the buyer to give the buyer peace of mind after the closing. Provide a closing cost allowance for the buyer to help them be able to afford your home. Price your home to sell, not sit. A comparative market analysis from a local realtor will demonstrate what other properties have sold for in your neighborhood. Well-priced homes sell faster with less hassle. Houses are selling fast and sellers are getting top dollar. For all the answers, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group, 221-2883 or 551-0225.
Mow like a pro with Hustler Turf zero-turn mowers. They engineer their mowers to be maintenance and service-friendly for the everyday homeowner while not sacrificing the build and cut quality they're known for. From the heavy-duty frame to the welded steel deck to their trademark smooth track steering, Hustler Turf zero-turn mowers deliver professional-grade cut quality for a perfectly manicured lawn. Why don't you stop by and see Deatsville Ace Hardware? See the Hustler difference for yourself today. Deatsville Ace Hardware on US 31 just north of Prattville, or Google Deatsville Ace Hardware for more information.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Welcome back, everybody. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
Man, it is a great day. If y'all need force, call me 285-8117. I got that out of the way. Now let's talk about something really fun.
Okay.
It's Sailor Tate's birthday today.
Ooh.
He is 17 years old. Can you believe it?
Happy birthday, Sailor, 17. Ray,
I know.
You got your shotgun polished? You ready to go?
Oh, no. Yeah, the boys. I listen, there's one thing I'm really good at in life is running boys off. I've got it down to a science. You find the most meaningless task possible and get them to do it for a week straight. If they're still around, you've got somebody.
There you go. Well, happy birthday to Sailor. Truly, that's great.
And then my granddaughter graduated from K4 today, which was woohoo. I get to go sit there for that. I thought I was through with those days.
That's beautiful. Well, it sounds like a great family day. And by the way, he does also sell carpet. 285-8117 there at Prattville Carpet. I appreciate you, Ray.
Hey, it's flooring, not carpet. It's everything. If you need it, I'll do it.
Right, yeah. Hardwood, laminate, luxury vinyl plank, ceramic tile, everything.
Yeah, call us today because I'm going to need a sale after today for sure.
Well, do appreciate you, Ray.
Guys, have a great day.
And we're out of here. I appreciate both y'all, Angela and Debbie. Great talking to y'all. Great meeting y'all. But I got to get out of here. I've already stolen half a minute from Greg Budell. He's next. Y'all stay tuned.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV.